to right as we look down, attacking the end where the Reading fans are housed away to our right hand side. Reading wearing their traditional blue and white stripes, white shorts, blue socks. Manchester United get us underway. Casemiro and Eriksen exchange a pass, and then it's back to Lindelof, who's got Harry Maguire alongside him. Maguire, who has found Premier League appearances and starts few and far between this campaign, and it always feels he's got that little bit extra to prove when he does start a match, as he does tonight. Maguire in possession on the halfway line, rolls it back in field to Lindelof once more. Carroll and Lucas João, the two who've come into the Reading team, otherwise they're unchanged from their last league game. They were beaten 4-0 at Stoke. Eriksen has it on the halfway line, and a Reading player hasn't touched the ball yet. Lindelof, centre circle. This is 5 Live for the BBC, the FA Cup 4th round at Old Trafford. Casemiro out to Eriksen again. Andy Carroll with that trademark long hair tied up tightly on the back of his head. He's got the green boots. Wears number 2 these days. The reason he wears number 2, he put it to a vote amongst his kids. When he made the decision, it was in September. One of his kids is 2 years of age. They said number 2, so that's why he wears number 2. True story.
Oh, you can't go against your children. Absolutely not. I don't think I ever moved number because my children were adamant that's what I played. So no surprise to see Andy Carroll doing that, actually.
This is Malacia stretching, and a good touch by Yiadom, who was brave there, and a chance now to come down the other end for Tom Ince, who's sort of playing in the number 10 role tonight, in behind Carroll and João. He gets all the way to the byline down the right hand side, then turns, tries to give it back to Junior Hoylett, and Manchester United win it back with Wout Weghorst. Chance for a counter-attack as Eriksen goes long, looking for the pace of Rashford. It nearly bounced over Tom Holmes, and in the end it's touched back by Tom McIntyre to the goalkeeper. Well, Manchester United, you can predict what they're going to do, but it's difficult to stop them, and Eriksen very nearly released Rashford to the counter-attack there.
He's so good at that, Christian Eriksen, picking his head up early, and he has the quality to find those passes, despite whether they're 5 yards or 45 yards, and that was a great attempt. It nearly skipped away from Holmes. It nearly caught the surface and got over his head, but he just about adjusted in time. Excellent
target man play from Andy Carroll there, leaping athletically to win a header, then controlling the ball as it came down to the deck and finding his pass, and down goes Jeff Hendrick just outside the penalty area, and it's a free kick to Reading here within shooting range. This is only 4 or 5 paces outside the box. It's slightly right of centre. Casemiro is all shrugs and gesticulations and spooky eyes towards the referee, but I think that was a foul on Hendrick.
Well, he's pleading his innocence, is Casemiro, asking the referee how could that be a foul, but it was. He just got too close to Hendrick. Hendrick just rolled him. He didn't show him any real respect there, Jeff Hendrick. Then he just protected the ball, spun Casemiro, and was brought to the ground. And this is a dangerous area to concede a free kick so early in the game.
I have to say, I'm very glad that Carroll's got the beard and the hair tied up, and that Jeff Hendrick's got the long hair, and a few of them have orange boots, because those Reading numbers are indecipherable from distance. I mean, fortunately, a lot of well-known players down there, well, we'd be in trouble. Tom Ince, you'd recognise his stance as he prepares to strike this free kick. It's a very short run up from Ince, tries to clip it over the wall. The wall does its job, falls down for Hendrick, and then Rashford looks to launch a counter-attack here. Anthony will encourage him to continue that run, and here he goes, a roar around Old Trafford as Marcus Rashford brings the ball into Reading territory. We've only played 3 and a bit minutes at Old Trafford, 0-0 between Manchester United and Reading in the FA Cup 4th round. A chance to cross for Anthony on the right-hand side. He's got Laum in front of him. Great ball into Wan-Bissaka. Low delivery. Weghorst might have scored, and it's blocked away out for a corner. He tried to pounce on the edge of the 6-yard box, and the Dutch striker was denied by a defender lunging with him. Corner, Manchester United.
Yeah, really good play. Weghorst heavily involved, and he's the person that plays it round the corner to Wan-Bissaka initially. Such a good player in tight areas for a big man. Nearly gets on the end of the cross with a finish as well, but Man United force a corner. Good start.
Corner to Manchester United, the rain falling on the banks of Salford Quays as it's delivered in by Eriksen, an in-swinger that's headed away by Lucas João, and Tyrell Malacia challenges for it, and the last touch comes off a Reading player. It's a Manchester United throw on the far side. Paul Ince has come out to the edge of his technical area, padded black jacket, hood down on the back of his neck. Watches on along with his assistant coach Alex Ray, who's got much experience of standing on the touchline looking on at big games. And they are weighing up how their team and indeed their opponents have started so far. Manchester United 0, Reading 0 on 5 Live. Lindelof has possession inside the centre circle. Gives it short to Harry Maguire in the orange boots. He just strokes the ball over to the far side, controlled on the instep by Bruno Fernandes. And it's a very consistent effort by Reading made here not to high press. They are holding the halfway line, and they're saying to Manchester United, you can keep it there, but we're not going to get sucked in, so you lob it over the top and catch us on the break. Anthony plays a good pass in front of Wan-Bissaka, tries to pull it back to the edge of the penalty area, and Mamadou Laom was able to stretch in the Senegalese international, and Reading are able to clear it away. Anthony picks it up again just down in front of us, shadowed by Jeff Hendrick, who retreats back into his own half, and Casemiro plays it to Lindelof. Leon Osman.
Well, you mentioned that Reading are trying to not drop away too early, trying to face up Manchester United as they step over that halfway line, but it's actually become difficult. You've mentioned early.
Ball into the penalty area. Weghorst tries to pull it back for Eriksen. He'll get a second bite of the cherry here. Wout Weghorst feeds it to Rashford. He's taken down now on the edge of the penalty area by Højlund, and that is a free kick, and a similar distance to the Reading set piece down the other end a few moments ago. A Manchester United free kick within range.
Yeah, sharp play from Marcus Rashford. He's so quick with his feet at the moment, full of confidence, and just sucks in Julia Højlund. And actually, Junior Højlund hadn't brought him down. Rashford was getting a shot away with his right foot on the angle just outside the penalty area. So despite it being a dangerous area to concede a free kick, not the worst foul in the world. Joe
Lumley is the Reading goalkeeper. He played here at Old Trafford this stage of the Cup last season. He was the Middlesbrough goalkeeper when Middlesbrough knocked United out on penalties. So he's had very recent experience of this exact scenario, being in a lower league team away from home against Manchester United, and he was on the winning side last year. Here he faces up to a Christian Eriksen free kick. There's no decoy runner. It's definitely going to be Eriksen. Here it comes, right-footed, almost on target, bounces once, skims wide of the post. Goal kick to Reading.
We tried to go goalkeeper side, Christian Eriksen, and just have it bounce in front of the goalkeeper. The goalkeeper took a step to his right behind his wall, expecting it was going to go over the top of his wall, his 4-man wall, but Christian Eriksen tried to be a little clever, just missed the far post.
So some of the scorelines earlier on today: Tottenham beating Preston 3-0 away at Deepdale. Leeds United were 3-1 winners away at Accrington Stanley. Leicester of the Premier League won away from home at Walsall. It was 2-2 between Blackburn and Birmingham. They'll do it all again. Bristol City beat West Brom by 3-0. Also a replay for Sunderland, who managed to hold Fulham 1-1. In fact, Sunderland led from early in that game. Fulham came back to draw at Craven Cottage. That'll go to a replay. Also a replay between Ipswich and Burnley, and Luton and Grimsby. And Sheffield Wednesday are through. In fact, Sheffield Wednesday go to a replay as well. 1-1 against Fleetwood. Southampton are through. Despite a scare against Blackpool, they beat them 2-1. Here come Manchester United. Anthony slips inside the penalty area. No suggestion of a foul at all. The feet just gave away underneath him. Tom McIntyre, the Scottish defender, is able to clear it away. Wan-Bissaka picks up again, right hand side, midway into Reading territory, and it's back to Maguire and to Lindelof once again, and still Lucas João and Andy Carroll aren't getting sucked into any high press motion. They allow the centre halves to have it. Eriksen plays the ball that he thought would be into the path of Marcus Rashford. Rashford had just pulled back, and it should be cleared away. That's very brave defending on the far side by Junior Højlund, who skips away and eventually is taken down. That was almost cheeky from the Canadian international. Free kick to Reading.
Yeah, he had to make a decision because Marcus Rashford ran 30 yards to make sure he couldn't just run that ball out, such as the commitment from the Manchester United number 10 at the moment. And Højlund had a decision to make, but he made a clever one. He then took it past Rashford, took it past Weghorst, and was brought down to relieve the pressure.
Junior Højlund, who was in the Cardiff City team that beat Manchester United here at Old Trafford in the Premier League on the last day of the season back in 2019. There's Carroll here, looked to get tugged by Harry Maguire as the ball came to him. No song and dance made of it. Reading get back possession pretty much immediately. Bobber Rockman, who's the Ghanaian international on loan from Chelsea, playing on the left-hand side for Reading, gets it back again here. 2 touches for him in very quick succession. Difficult task for him up against the energetic Wan-Bissaka tonight. Baba-Rahman's poor ball into the centre nearly gave it away to Marcus Rashford there, but it carries through, and Andy Yiadom should be able to clear away. Baba-Rahman, who Chelsea paid £22 million to sign 7 years ago. He's been out on loads of loan moves over the years. He's not had many games ever in the first team for Chelsea, but he is still officially a Chelsea player and on loan at Reading.
It's amazing how that happens, isn't it? That teams will bring players in and just continue to loan them out and loan them out. They're not ready to use them themselves, and he's playing left wing back up against Antony today, who some people have questioned his form initially at Manchester United, but his numbers speak for themselves. He got another assist against Nottingham Forest in the week, and Ten Hag is adamant that when he plays, Manchester United win, so it's always pleasing if you've got your manager's support.
Manchester United 0, Reading 0, 10 minutes played at Old Trafford. Throw in to the visitors from the Championship. Manchester United 12 times winners of the FA Cup. Reading's best showing 1927 when they reached the semi-finals, and in doing so beat Manchester United along the way. Weghorst has done well to win the ball in the midfield against Mamadou Laom. Manchester United give it to Antony just over the halfway line. He'll turn and plays a calm pass back to Lindelof once again. Full house at Old Trafford tonight, 74,000 in here, as Bruno Fernandes gives it back again to Lindelof, and Manchester United are being patient here. What have you made of Wout Weghorst, the opening few games we've seen him in Manchester United red?
Yeah, I like him. I think he's very good with his feet. I think he holds the ball up well, which Manchester United centre forwards haven't done in recent season. He brings other people into play, and when you're bringing into play Bruno Fernandes and you're bringing into play Christian Eriksen with the ball 30 yards further up the field with runners like Antony and Antony and Rashford either side, he's going to be very effective. And if they decide to cross the ball, he really is a threat.
He's waiting for that delivery to come. It's his home debut tonight, Wout Weghorst. He has played 3 away matches at Palace, at Arsenal, at Forest in the League Cup, and tonight the Old Trafford crowd are getting a look at him for themselves up close for the first time. 0-0 Manchester United against Reading in this FA Cup 4th round tie. And no extra time if it was to remain level. They would go to a replay. There is VAR tonight, this being a Premier League ground. Lee Mason is watching the screens back at Stockley Park as a throw into Manchester United down in front of us, right hand side for Wan-Bissaka.
I mentioned Wan-Bissaka, I think his positioning has been interesting so far in this game. We talk about Manchester City, about how the fullback steps into midfield quite regularly and becomes an extra midfielder, and the 3 other defenders become, really spread out at the back. But I've never really seen Wan-Bissaka doing it, but he's quite often going into a central midfield role, and we've mentioned him because he's then making a run from in to out behind Baba, the wing back. Antony's then playing him the pass, and at the moment Manchester United again quite a bit of joy from the positioning of Wan-Bissaka.
Tom Holmes has given away a free kick 15 yards or so outside the penalty area. Lunging tackle in on Weghorst. He's complained a lot about it, and referee Darren England has just had a word with him to try and quell those protests. I think the point that Tom Holmes might be making is, I make those tackles all the time in the Championship, but I don't get pinged for them. I got some of the ball. Oh yeah, I got a bit of Weghorst as well, but anyway, free kick it is, and Rashford with great care and attention, like a jeweler carefully placing a diamond in a box, has placed this ball. Very, very detailed placing of it just to get it right. And now he stands, and there feels little doubt that Rashford is going to take this on. Here he comes, right-footed, blaster of a shot, comes back for Eriksen. Shot was on target. Lahm did very well to block it away. Really good save by Joe Lumley. That was some free kick from Marcus Rashford, a long way out. He could barely have hit it with more menace. He absolutely lashed that, and it was on target too, as Antony pulls a trick on the right wing, but he can't beat the defender, and Reading pick it up, and Ince should be able to clear away here, but he dilly-dallies too long, and Antony's able to get back at him, and it goes out for a Manchester United throw. Some free kick, Leon.
Yeah, well, you could see the way he placed the ball. It looked like he took such care, as you said, that he was placing it so that he could hit the valve. That technique, that you really connect with it, and then if you hit it true and you hit it with power, it will move all over the place, and that's exactly what happened. And as you mentioned, Lumley had to keep his eyes on it. It moves right across him and then comes back, and he does well just to get behind it. And then actually, I thought Christian Eriksen was going to finish it, but Loam was quite quickly there to make that block, and that was an important block for his team.
Yeah, Mamadou Loam, who won the Portuguese version of the FA Cup with Porto 2 years ago. He played in the final. They beat Benfica. Now we would love an FA Cup scalp here at Old Trafford for Reading this evening. Quarter of an hour in. Good watch so far. Lindelof rolls it in front of Malacia. There's no Luke Shaw tonight. He missed the League Cup win in midweek against Forest due to illness. Not involved today either, not even on the bench. Brandon Williams, he's amongst the Manchester United substitutes. He's barely played this season, not at all in the Premier League. Came on in the League Cup against Burnley just before Christmas. That's been his only appearance. A player who's been coming back from injury. This is Ericsson on the left hand side of the midfield. Rain still swirling around, a real sort of misty rain tonight at Old Trafford as Lindelof tries to play one over the top. Rashford was already on his bike, but shadowed by Junior Hoylett, who's been able to chaperone the ball out for a goal kick to Reading. It remains 0-0.
Yeah, really good play from the wing back there. Marcus Rashford made 2 runs before it, and actually if Manchester United would have timed it right, Junior Hoylett hadn't actually gone with him, but on the important occasion where somebody had played that forward pass, just tucked inside, just got close enough to Marcus Rashford to make sure that the Manchester United striker didn't have a clear run through on goal.
Opening quarter of an hour of this game, Manchester United have had 82% possession, but Paul Ince would have expected that, and his game plan, I'm sure, is dependent upon Manchester United having most of the ball. It's what Reading can do on their rare sorties forward that could make the difference for the Championship side. Here come Manchester United. Rashford gives it to Anthony, took it well in his stride. Ericsson into the penalty area, good strength to hold up Tom Holmes and to lay it back to Bruno Fernandes again. Clever ball to Anthony. First touch wasn't great, then he bends it and he almost curled it into the far bottom corner. It had a bend and a dip and a swirl, but it's a few inches wide. It's Manchester United 0, Reading 0.
For the first 10-12 minutes of this game, Manchester United had a lot of possession without starting to create opportunities. They're just starting to trouble Lumley in that goal. They're just starting to make him scramble and make saves. This one is only half a yard maybe wide of that far post. We've seen Anthony drop into that position, corner of the penalty area, take a touch and whip it far post. He just misses out on this occasion.
0-0 it remains. There is a match of the day, FA Cup highlights tonight. BBC One 10-11. Chappers with Dion Dublin and Ashley Williams in studio, looking at the best of the action from last night and across today in the FA Cup 4th round. Casemiro has possession on the edge of the penalty area. Manchester United playing left to right. Long ball forward, looked to be controlled awkwardly by Tom McIntyre. Officials are happy, no handball. I tell you what, if that was in the penalty area, it would have been a spot kick. His arms were raised. There's a big thump of a clearance by Tom McIntyre, clears it away. It goes out for a throw-in on the far side, throw-in for Manchester United. So 18 minutes played, and Erik ten Hag last Sunday at the Emirates aside, he's got this team playing some really good stuff. I mean, they did play well on Sunday, but the winning mentality is there now. Manchester United go into every game at the moment believing, expecting to win.
Yeah, and that's one of the differences. You know, I think everybody would say on paper, or the way they're playing at the moment, that Arsenal are the stronger outfit. But despite not having much of the play, despite not having many opportunities, Manchester United stayed very much in the game. They scored crucial goals. They could have come out of there with a draw until Arsenal just managed to turn that pressure into that goal in the last few minutes. And I haven't always said that in recent seasons about Manchester United, that they've got that grit and determination to stay in games and show the quality when they can.
They've had plenty of cup experience this season too, still involved in the FA Cup, the League Cup, the Europa League as well. Manchester United have won 10 of their 11 cup games this season. The only one they failed to win was the Europa League group stage defeat to Real Sociedad in September. They finished second in that Europa League group, and they will face Barcelona. That's not far away now at all. Coming up in mid-February, the first leg, Manchester United against Barcelona in the Europa League, as Reading clear away again, and Bruno Fernandes just adjusts his laces, and Harry Maguire takes the throw-in back to Lindelof, and now Malacia over the halfway line. Tyrell Malacia, who had started 9 games in all competitions in a row before last week, he was on the bench against Palace and Arsenal. Back into the starting 11 for Forest in the League Cup semi-final, and has held his place tonight. This is Eriksson in the centre circle. Plenty of backspin on the pass towards Anthony, who tries to flick it on first time to Wan-Bissaka. Well anticipated by Tom McIntyre, who slides in and clears it away. The Reading defence could do with a breather here. Lucas João looks to hold it up, but he's got Casemiro to tangle with, and Casemiro uses all his experience and wins it back.
Yeah, that's it. Reading, certainly at the top of the pitch, haven't been able to keep the ball at all. The defence aren't having an opportunity to get any kind of break.
Good ball. Rashford to the byline. Malacia's cross. Anthony controls it. Falls for Weghorst. Swivels. Shoots. Blocked away off Tom Holmes and out for a corner. Dangerous Manchester United attack. Rashford's pass set it all in motion, and it very nearly fell for Wout Weghorst on his home debut.
Yeah, it was good play from Manchester United. Just that run, that underlapping run from Malacia gets in behind that Reading defence, and he pops it in. Anthony can't touch and swivel quick enough, but quick to react. The quickest to react was Weghorst, and he's unfortunate that he saw his shot just go over the top of the bar.
Eriksson will take the corner again. In swinger from the far side, plenty of bend on that, but headed away at the front post. Malacia gives it back out to Eriksson. Manchester United with pretty much everyone up in attack here. Wan-Bissaka's the deepest lying outfield player, and even he is well into Reading territory as Malacia's attempted cross is blocked down by Mamadou Larman. That'll be a throw into Manchester United on the far side.
Yeah, they've got great control of this game at the moment. Reading can't keep the ball, they can't string passes together, they can't get out of their own third, never mind towards the halfway line. We're seeing Harry Maguire stepping into the final third with possession of the ball, and they're moving it quickly. They've got runners off the ball. If it carries on like this, it'll only be a matter of time.
Here's Rashford to the byline left-hand side. He was trying to pull it back for Eriksson, and I think he expected Eriksson to run onto that. Eriksson stopped and wanted it to come to him. Anthony curls one, but too high, and it sails over the top. Just crossed wires there. Rashford did exactly what he meant to do, but it didn't fall for Eriksson, and no shot on that occasion. By the way, we've got to talk about this run that Marcus Rashford is on. 10 goals in 10 games for Manchester United since the World Cup. Here at Old Trafford, he has scored in his last 9 home games in a row. Now, only one Manchester United player ever has scored a sequence of 9 games in a row at Old Trafford. That was Dennis Viollet, one of the Busby Babes, back in 1959. So Rashford already equaling that, and if he scores tonight, he will do something that, you know, think of all the quality strikers that have played for Manchester United, that none of them have ever done before.
Yeah, it's already an incredible achievement, even if he doesn't manage to score tonight and break that record. But the way he's playing, I wouldn't put it past him actually going out on his own for Manchester United.
The ball beats him to the byline here, ball over the top. Goalkeeper had it covered anyway, but Rashford sprinted all the way, and it does go out for this goal kick to Reading. But Marcus Rashford, 21 goals for club and country this season. Scored against Arsenal last weekend, fine strike from outside the penalty area, scored against Nottingham Forest in midweek, and this run of form, you'd imagine Erik ten Hag might think, do I need to put him in cotton wool, do I need to rest him? But he'll want to play every game.
Well, he will want to play every game for sure. He'll want to keep on scoring goals, keep his confidence levels high. But you know, Erik ten Hag, this is what management is all about. You keep throwing your players out there because they're playing well, and you want to keep them out there scoring goals because form doesn't last forever. Do you want to utilise that while it's out there, or do you want to make sure he's available for those big moments and those big games of the season?
Yeah, Erik ten Hag has gone strong tonight. The two centre-halves, Maguire and Lindelof, are the only alterations you would say from his strongest available team. He's got Lisandro Martinez and Rafael Varane on the bench, but otherwise this is as strong as they can be, with De Gea in goal. Wan-Bissaka, Malacia left back, no show available, remember. Baba Rahman's uncertain touch here on the edge of the penalty area. Rashford tried to return it to Anthony, and Bob was able to pick it up again and clear away, but a poor ball straight to Harry Maguire. Casemiro will pick it up midway inside the Reading half, tries to scoop it towards Rashford. Good leap from Tom Holmes, who got up well there to head it away. It comes back to Casemiro again, who's got the long sleeves and the gloves on tonight, and he'll just turn and roll it back to Victor Lindelof once again. Manchester United come forward. This is Wan-Bissaka with the white boots on the right hand side. Casemiro touches it back out to Wan-Bissaka. Now Lindelof to Eriksson, who keeps dropping back into this sort of left-back position. Malacia often going into midfield, as fullbacks tend to do this these days. Long ball is very well played by Maguire. Rashford almost onto it, and good defending needed to be. The ball was cleared away by Yiadom. Good ball from Maguire, though. He very nearly picked out Rashford, and that was from the halfway line, playing it all the way direct into the penalty area. Here he comes again, Maguire. Midway inside the Reading half. Not a good pass this time. Bruno Fernandes had to stretch for it and doesn't control, and Reading are able to force Manchester United back. Still 0-0.
Yeah, it's not a good pass there, but what Manchester United are doing brilliantly is winning the ball straight back. It's difficult for Reading. They've got Andy Carroll and João up front, who are both big centre forwards. They can't run away from Manchester United's defenders, so United are nipping in front of them every time the ball's played to their feet, winning the ball back straight away.
Here's Malacia, edge of the penalty area, tight left hand side against the byline, pulls it in low. This is Christian Eriksen, and it's straight off the defender Holmes. Strong low shot from the Dane. Holmes got his body in the way. Anthony chips one in. This one's headed by Tom McIntyre. Reading haven't got it away yet. Weghorst snaps in, swivels and shoots, but sends it over the crossbar. And it really does illustrate the point you were making, Leon. Reading win the ball back, but they never keep it for more than 1-2 passes tops.
No, they've got nobody really to play it forward to. As I said, the Manchester United defenders are on their toes. They know the ball is only ever going to come short to the feet of João and Carroll. They don't need to worry about them running over the top and running away, so they don't need to drop off any kind of yard. So everything is on the front foot for Manchester United. Because of that, Reading are giving the ball away every time they've got it. What they need is to be a touch braver. Somebody, Barbaro or Hoyle, just beat somebody in possession. Tom Ince running behind somebody, able to play the pass forward.
Yeah, if you're a tennis fan, you can listen to the Australian Open men's singles final tomorrow morning from 8:30 here on 5 Live. Anthony into the penalty area, pulls it back just behind Bruno Fernandes. Good adjustment, and he sends his shot over the crossbar. He went for the postage stamp corner. Bruno Fernandes, who had to adjust his stance to get that shot away, and he was very, very close.
Yeah, pressure's definitely building momentum very much with Manchester United, but they've just not found that clear-cut opportunity to actually beat the Reading goalkeeper. That ball was just played behind Bruno Fernandes. He has to stretch to take a touch. Then he's quite off, just a touch off balance when he's trying to put it in that top corner, so he doesn't find the quality that we usually see from Bruno Fernandes. They're just a little bit more assured with their final pass, Manchester United. The opportunity will present itself.
There are 3 more FA Cup 4th round ties tomorrow. Then on Monday, Derby County play West Ham. Tomorrow we'll start with Brighton against Liverpool. That's our pick of the lunchtime games. Full commentary here on 5 Live. Stoke host Stevenage as well. And then at 4:30 there'll be a bit of Hollywood razzmatazz. Wrexham against Sheffield United. Again, full commentary of that here on 5 Live from the racecourse ground.
I do like a bit of razzmatazz.
We're big fans of razzmatazz.
Big fan.
And Juliet Ferrington, who's with us here tonight, will be at Wrexham tomorrow. First in the queue for the Ryan Reynolds interview, I'll tell you that. I will put good money on it. She'll get it too. 28 minutes played here at Old Trafford. And Reading are, well, let's say doing okay so far. They are beginning to have to ship water out of the canoe with a bucket. There's been 1 or 2 scares, but Manchester United 0, Reading 0. And, you know, a lower league team coming to a side riding high in the Premier League, you're always going to have to ride your luck a little bit.
Yes, and they would have known they would have to defend for long periods in this game, but they need to try and get out. They can't try and defend for the 90 minutes straight and hope Manchester United don't find that opportunity. At the moment, tactically, they're really struggling because their back 5 is being kept back by Manchester United's front 3. Rashford out on the left is up against Hoylett. Anthony on this right hand side in front of us is up against Baba, and then Weghorst is being marked by 3 centre backs. So Eriksen and Bruno Fernandes and even Wan-Bissaka have mentioned is stepping into those positions, are having so much space and joy that 3-man midfield of Reading, they just can't cover the spaces.
It's Reading having to work hard without seeing much of the ball. Stamina will become a factor the longer this goes on, as Rashford tries to play one into the penalty area. He was looking for Bruno Fernandes, well covered by Andy Yiadom, who's played internationally for Ghana in the past. Casemiro has it here midway inside the Reading half, gives it short to the feet of Weghorst. Now it's looped over the top. Wan-Bissaka made a burst in. Challenges in the air with Tom Holmes, and he's deemed to have fouled Holmes. And that's a free kick to Reading on the edge of their box, and a chance for Paul Ince's team to try and clear their lines. Today is the 3rd time that Ince has come up against Manchester United as a manager. His old club, of course. He's played 2, lost 2 so far. He scored 29 goals in a Manchester United shirt as a player. I mean, for younger listeners, Paul Ince was a very good player, so much so that in a time when very few players from English football would be brought to play in Serie A, he went over and he played for big clubs over there.
Yeah, very good, as putting it mildly. He was one of the standout central midfielders of that generation. You knew he was playing. Manchester United were going to be as competitive as ever, and then you signed Roy Keane alongside him. My word.
He's very much on familiar ground tonight. Paul Ince knows Old Trafford inside out. As Harry Maguire takes a confident touch away from Lucas João, and Casemiro's always on hand. If the 2 central defenders ever need a little exit ramp, Casemiro's available for a short pass to relieve that pressure. Malacia 10 yards inside his own half, plays the ball in front of Eriksson. Iadom is going to get there first and roll it back to Joe Lumley, the goalkeeper, whose touch is uncertain, and Eriksson nearly in to pick his pocket. Wake up call for the keeper Lumley, who's gotten away with one there.
Such a strange one. It wasn't that his touch was uncertain. He made his touch, which seemed a reasonable space in front of him, but then he took a step backwards as if he needed more room, and the Manchester United strike didn't need any second ideas to try and go and pounce on that and score another goal.
Reading's defence has been stronger this season compared to last year, but they still struggle on their travels. They've conceded the most away goals of all teams in the Championship this season. 0-0 for the moment. Over half an hour played here at Old Trafford against Manchester United in the FA Cup 4th round. Reading, who have lost 7 of their last 8 FA Cup games against Premier League opposition. The last time they beat a club in the top tier in this competition was when they knocked out West Brom. That was 2016. Good touch by Ince. Casemiro wins it back though. Ince is furious, felt he was fouled. In the referee's opinion, Casemiro got the ball, and now Antony just goes through the gears, accelerates down the right wing. Baba Rockman trying to keep up with him. Onto his left boot, Antony veers infield now. Good ball. Bruno Fernandes sight of goal, and he pulls it across the face. He did that exact same thing in the Manchester derby against City. Into a position, pulls it across the face of goal. And a goal kick for Reading, still 0-0.
Yeah, it's that run again. They're getting a bit of joy from Manchester United. That in-to-out run in behind McIntyre, the centre-back. And because as Antony just cuts inside onto the left foot, to the position he's had 2 efforts from already this evening, McIntyre thought, I'm going to have to get out to him, I'm going to have to stop the shot. And in doing so, just vacated that space cleverly. Bruno Fernandes just stepped into that space. Couldn't find the target with his shot though. But again, Manchester United's pressure's building.
Flick on by Andy Carroll. Can't quite pick out Lucas João. Malacia wriggles his way out of a tight corner against Ince, and Manchester United will comfortably bring it away. Again, Carroll has won a few flick-on headers, but he's yet to have an opportunity to propel one of those headers goal-bound. He's yet to have a cross that found him in the penalty area.
Well, first of all, he's not really able to flick it onto anybody because Reading aren't getting far enough forward. But as you said, everything's straight. It's either from the goalkeeper or from one of the centre-backs. They're not able to get their wing-backs high enough into the attacking areas so that they're actually dangerous crosses coming in.
It's all been away to our right-hand side over the last 20 minutes already since kick-off. I mean, Reading, I would say, twice have had periods of more than 15 seconds in possession in the Manchester United half. That's been it in the game so far.
It is, and because Manchester United are quite comfortable that the 2 centre-forwards of Reading aren't going to run away from them, they're prepared to go 2v2 at the back. Every time Manchester United attack, they're happy to leave João and Carroll up against Maguire and Lindelof, or Maguire and Malacia, 2 players at the back, and they get so many overloads all over the field, Manchester United, but they're not finding that clear-cut opportunity to unlock the door.
Here is Antony. Plays it infield to Casemiro. That was a difficult pass to receive, and he's done brilliantly, Casemiro, to control it. Now Weghorst's header across the face of goal. Rashford! It looked over the line! Rashford's header down! Was over the line before the goalkeeper plucked it back out, and he's done it for the first time in Manchester United history. A player has scored in 10 home games in a row at Old Trafford. Number 10 on his back. 10 games in a row he has scored here. Record breaker Rashford. Manchester United 1, Reading 0.
That's that man again. You just can't stop him scoring at the moment. He just knows exactly where to stand and exactly where to be, does Marcus Rashford. And Manchester United finally create a clear opportunity. I didn't know if Weghorst may be offside in the build-up. It would have been close, but VAR, I'm sure they'll take a look at it. But from that moment, he spins, he gets onto a half clearance from Holmes, I think it is, and just heads it back across the penalty, back across the goal frame. Whether he's going for the far post or whether he's just making sure he puts it in a dangerous position, it doesn't matter, because Marcus Rashford was ready for it. Marcus Rashford was in a great position. He's at the far post, he heads it goalwards, and we could see quite clearly it just about went over the line.
He is in the form of his life. VAR having a look. I mentioned in the build-up, was Weghorst potentially offside? Well, that will certainly dampen the mood if this doesn't count now. The pass from Casemiro, threaded through to Weghorst. This goal might be ruled out. He's offside.
Yeah, I said, I knew or thought he'd gone a fraction early, but the pass wasn't meant for him. It was meant for Bruno Fernandes, and then I think it's Holmes who actually gets half a block on it. The ball goes into the air, and now we're in that grey area of, was that a real clearance that we've seen recently in FA Cup games?
There's no doubt he's offside, but the pass is not to him. Then he gets involved a fraction of a second later, but at the time of the pass you would say it wasn't an active position. It's a very unusual one. It's not going to stand. The goal is disallowed. Marcus Rashford must wait for his record breaking, if indeed it is to happen tonight. How the Reading fans celebrate away to our right hand side. This game is still 0-0, but this decision will be spoken about a lot, Leon.
Yeah, Will, in my opinion, it's offside. When the ball is played forward, Weghorst is slightly offside, it ricochets to him and he puts it across and Marcus Rashford scores. However, when you think about the Mo Salah goal at a couple of weeks back in the FA Cup against Wolves, where he was clearly offside, the defender gets a touch and suddenly he's now deemed not to have been in play previous. There's such a grey area over this offside rule at the moment that needs clarifying, but in my opinion neither of those goals mentioned should have counted, and I think that's rightly ruled out.
It is tricky. No two situations are exactly the same. In this scenario, Weghorst offside as the pass was played, a through ball from from Casemiro that ended up being nowhere near Weghorst as it was played, but then it comes off the defender and then Weghorst comes in to pounce, but the officials have decided that puts him in an offside position. As you said, it feels like we've had this exact conversation and we've been saying, oh, he's not offside for that reason.
Well, there was one at Old Trafford here, Marcus Rashford himself, that was deemed not in play because he didn't touch the ball against Manchester City despite him standing over it. So Weghorst definitely touched the ball. He was definitely offside. It wasn't meant for him. It did come off a defender on its way to him, but in my opinion that was rightly offside.
Yeah, so Marcus Rashford, who did very well to finish from a tight angle through the legs of the goalkeeper. Here he comes again into the penalty area. Rashford pulls it back and Amadou Lom is able to clear it away, out for a throw in. That's been a reprieve for Reading. It kind of feels final warning now. Manchester United are getting closer and closer. They can't really get any closer than that.
Well, Maguire and Lindelof are getting closer and closer to the penalty area as well.
Casemiro wins a header. Manchester United player went down. It was Weghorst in the penalty area. Referees just play on. To be fair to Weghorst, he didn't make any song and dance about it. This is Lindelof and Casemiro to the right wing to Anthony. Gets to the edge of the penalty area. Well closed down by Baba Rahman, and Reading are going to be able to clear this away, but it's like hitting it off a brick wall for Reading. They clear it away, it comes straight back at them all the time. 6 minutes thereabouts to go of normal time until the break. Can Reading hold on to half time? They really could do with a breather here. Casemiro back to Harry Maguire. Very condensed, the most advanced Reading player and the deepest lying Reading player. There's only about 15 yards between them. That's how compressed they are just outside their own penalty area as Manchester United have possession with Lindelof.
But we're looking at, Lindelof and Maguire's position. It's halfway in between the penalty area and the halfway line of Red. It's so far advanced, but there's nothing that's going to scare them and running behind them.
Lovely flick by Anthony. Cross from Wan-Bissaka. Weghorst can't control. Rashford is strong and he does gain possession of the ball, but he's outside the penalty area now on the left hand side. He picks out a low ball to Rashford. Down goes Casemiro. Manchester United want a penalty. The on-field decision is play on, but I'm sure the video assistant referee will have a good look at this. Reading clear it away. and linger in the air, the possibility of a penalty at Old Trafford.
Yeah, I actually think he's fortunate not to get a yellow card from the referee. I think that he controls the ball, it's a little bit behind him. There is I wouldn't say a coming together, there's a slightest of contact, and I think Casemiro throws himself on the floor. So I think that referee was quite close to the situation. I think he saw it quite clearly and rightly decided it wasn't a penalty kick. I'm just about to see it again for the second time. Maybe Hoyle, I mean, there is a coming together, but still not enough for a penalty kick for me. Casemiro goes down a little bit too easily. Hoyle gets a bit on the ball as well. So I think the referee's right to not award a penalty kick. But again, if we're talking, Casemiro now is inside the 6-yard box of Reading. They're just queuing up inside that penalty area, getting closer and closer to that Reading goal. But yeah, as it stands, Reading have kept Manchester United at bay.
Break in play while Andy Iadom gets some treatment, and Paulins has summoned his players over for a little mini team talk. I was at the Etihad last night. Both Pep Guardiola and Mikel Arteta did this, so much so, and I'm always a bit of a conspiracy theorist, Liam, but there was a time when Matt Turner went down injured, and the conspiracy theorist in me felt that was just to facilitate a team talk for Mikel Arteta. But this one won't last very long, as the Reading players are sent back out now with the Iadom okay to continue. Reading are holding on here, 0-0 at Old Trafford, but Manchester United getting closer and closer and closer to that opening goal tonight. Clock ticking on, and we've got 3 minutes or thereabouts of normal time to go until half-time. There'll be some stoppages added on too, as Jeff Hendrick allows Andy Carroll to clear the ball away straight to Wan-Bissaka, and Manchester United get it again. Reading need to be a little bit more careful with their passing when they do get the ball. This is Anthony, midway inside the Reading half, dancing in front of Baba Rockman, does well to skip and field of him, but there's trouble inside. And Tommins picks it up briefly, tries to do a nutmeg, I think, and Casemiro, who says, "How dare you? Do you realise I am Sir Casemiro? You don't nutmeg me." And he gets possession of him. That was a dusting down for young Tommins there.
And Tommins took one look to the bench in disappointment that, he's not been able to skip past, and his dad just went, "Come on, keep running."
Keep going.
Got his head down and carried on.
That's what dads do. Here is Andy Carroll, tries to play a blind pass in front of Junior Hoyle. It was a sort of a no-look pass, and Bruno Fernandes was aware of the danger and sprints back and gets there first. Reading finding it very difficult to get respite, but they are holding on it 0-0 in this FA Cup 4th round game. 5 live from the BBC at Old Trafford.
It's like a training game. If you were going to watch Premier League teams train, quite often they'll do attack versus defence. The attack start with the ball on the halfway line, and the attack. And once the defence win the ball back, they just have to kick it to the halfway line so the attack can start again. And that's what it seems like. Reading aren't able to start any kind of attack, keep any kind of possession. Manchester United are finding it so easy.
Weghorst has been a good link man. Ball into Eriksson, who appeared to be offside. He flicked on a header that wasn't threatening the goal anyway, and then when the keeper, Joe Lumley, gathers, the flag goes up, and had that ended up in the back of the net, Christian Eriksen would have been offside. Eriksen, who's got 2 goals for Manchester United, one in the Premier League, one in the League Cup. He scored in the last game before the World Cup, the 2-1 win at Fulham in mid-November, and he scored again the first game back after the World Cup. That was against Burnley here in the League Cup against Vincent Kompany's team. And he keeps making those runs, he keeps getting into good positions, Christian Eriksen, as Casemiro plays quarterback here, looking for Anthony, who'd made a good run, but Baba Rockman would attract him all the way. And then Loam plays a weak pass, not enough on it to Lucas João, and Manchester United pick it up. This is dangerous. Rashford into the penalty area, right hand side. Baba Rockman makes amends for his poor pass. He cuts it out for a corner to Manchester United on the right hand side.
What I must say is, despite Reading not being able to get out of their own final third, they're defending the penalty area really, really well. Again, Baba there stopping Bruno Fernandes getting a cross in. They've stopped easy shots. They've pressurised every time Manchester United have had half an opportunity. So they are hanging in there, Reading, defending well.
Feels like the rain has eased off just a little bit. Eriksen prepares to take it. Casemiro jostles for position in the middle, comes in low. Maguire misses. Now Anthony, nice footwork, goes for the top corner, and it was never bending. It was well wide in the end from Anthony. Clever footwork to get into the position, but couldn't find the target.
It was actually unfortunate. He controlled it well. Little Cruyff turn with his left foot onto his right foot, and I think that's the first time I've seen him kick it with his right foot since he's been in English football, and never quite gets the bend on it. It's never coming round far enough, but You know, it was a good effort from.
What you're saying is they didn't pay all that money for the right foot.
No, no, not at all. You know, watched him quite a few times now, and despite where he is on the pitch, he'll always try and chop back onto that left foot. And yes, it's a wonderful left foot, but he used his right foot there, and that was good to see.
He started like a train, Anthony. 3 goals in his first 3 Premier League games. He's added another 2 in cup competitions. We're moving into stoppages. 2 minutes being added on. Reading on the attack. Good ball in. Chance for Junior Hoylett. De Gea makes the save. First attempt of the game for Reading. And David De Gea makes a reaction save. That could have put the Championship side in front, and it's a reminder. In FA Cup football, it's always possible, even with Reading being so massively outplayed, they could have taken the lead in stoppage time at the end of this first half.
Wow, and that's why we love this game. Reading, it's the first time they've been in Manchester United's half, never mind in the penalty area, and Papa somehow gets the ball on the left-hand side. No other thought than to put it in. They've got players in there. Hendricks is arriving at the far post, and actually really poor and sloppy from Malacia. Doesn't realise he's under pressure, but Hoylett skipped in, and De Gea saves Manchester United's blushes.
Junior Hoylett, he's only got 1 goal this season, the Championship. He's got 3 FA Cup goals in his career in the past. If he could have that again, he would have made extra sure to put it away. Here's another chance. Reading have found a second wind here in stoppage time at the end of the first half. An attempted delivery in from the right-hand side from Hoylett this time, but he couldn't pick out Carroll in the middle. And now Manchester United clear, and Reading just a little thin at the back. Wan-Bissaka with long strides. Hendrick trying to keep up with him. Anthony onto that left boot. Quickly back to Wan-Bissaka. Flashes in the cross, well defended by Tom Holmes. Ooh from the crowd as Reading clear it away. And Anthony picks up again on the right wing. And a step over and a drag under the studs. Casemiro makes a run. Anthony doesn't play it. Holds onto it. Back to Wan-Bissaka on the edge of the box. Now the 1-2. Casemiro low ball it. Weghorst! It was on target but no power. And diving to his right-hand side, Joe Lumley makes the save. Still 0-0.
Well, this is the way Manchester United have had most of their joy. Wan-Bissaka, Anthony, and then either Casemiro or Bruno Fernandes running over into this little quadrant, this little area, corner of Reading's penalty area. And this time it's, I think it was Casemiro who actually found that space, whipped it in. Weghorst couldn't just adjust his feet, beg your pardon, quick enough to get a good shot on target.
I imagine it's been somewhat of a frustrating first half for Manchester United fans as the whistle blows because they've had so many chances. They've had the ball over the line, but VAR to the rescue for Reading on that occasion. Weghorst offside, and Reading will just have that little bit more belief as they make their way towards the changing room after that Junior Hoylett chance. Without it, it really has been backs to the wall, but Paul Ince will have a little bit of positivity that he can point to and he say, look, the chances will come, it's worth hanging in there.
Yeah, and I think that chance there, and I think it's probably the best chance of the half, it's the only chance for Reading, but the best of the half, will just put a bit more energy into those Reading legs, because going in at half time when you've not got out your final third, you've struggled to really do anything but defend, you get in there and you start to lose your faith and you start to lose your belief that you're going to get anything, but suddenly you've just proved if you defend well, if you're solid, if you make sure everybody's doing the job, an opportunity will come, and if we take it, we could actually have a giant killing on our hands here. But you know, Manchester United will also be seeing that we need to keep our concentration levels high. We need to keep moving the ball as quickly as we have done at times and just have that final bit of composure in the penalty area.
No shortage of chances. Rashford's goal disallowed 10 minutes before the break, and it's Manchester United 0, Reading 0. Juliet.
Thank you, Connor. Leon, just on that Junior Hoylett chance right at the very end of the first half, made me read Erik ten Hag's programme notes, and he was saying although they'll be favourites to progress tonight because they're near the top of the Premier League and Reading are in the Championship, he said everybody knows that this kind of gap can count for absolutely nothing, and we saw that right at the very end of the first half.
Yeah, we nearly did, didn't we? We nearly saw Reading going in at half-time 1-0 up, and it was a big opportunity. I think actually Hoylett should have done better once he got in there. Credit to David De Gea because he reacts quickly. He's good with his legs and his knees and reacts quickly. Hands close down there as well. But yeah, it'll certainly be a reminder for Erik ten Hag telling his team, as good as we played in the first half, we haven't found the opening. We should have a little bit more calmness in front of goal, but at the other end, defenders, don't switch off for a moment because every team in the country can punish you if you do.
That's just it. They're dominating possession. They look composed. They've had those big chances as well. We thought Marcus Rashford had scored. That was ruled offside. That will be a talking point. And Erik ten Hag certainly didn't look happy about that decision, as well as the United fans didn't. And you yourself, you called it straight away, but it was really tight.
Oh, it's very tight. There's no doubt about that. But the argument isn't whether Weghorst was offside. He was. The argument is, when does he become in play, and does it coming off the defender's leg means that he wasn't in play before that? Because we've seen over the last month or so the differences in opinions with regards to that. So that'll be the talking point. In my opinion, it's offside. It should always be offside in that situation, but that was a big warning for Red, and Manchester United were very close, and Marcus Rashford very nearly had that Manchester United record.
And just lastly on Reading, before we get the latest news, Reading do look like they've been in a boxing match, don't they? Because they are blocking absolutely everything that is thrown at them. The energy that is taking right now.
Yeah, definitely. But you know, every boxer has a swinger's chance of landing a blow, and Reading nearly did that there. Yeah, they nearly did that there. So yes, they are tired. Yes, they've had their backs to the walls. Yes. I mean, Harry Maguire and Victor Lindelof have played halfway in between the halfway line and the Reading penalty area. Such has been the dominance. But Reading have defended their penalty area pretty well. They've not really given up that moment that Manchester United should have scored from. So that'll be the positive message from Paul Ince to his team at half-time.
Right, second half to come in around about 12 minutes or so. Let's just recap the results from today's cup matches. Remember, it's 0-0 here at Old Trafford between Manchester United and Reading. In the early kick-offs, there were wins for Leeds, 3-1 at Accrington, Leicester.
Listen on BBC Sounds. This is BBC Radio 5 Live.
Well, we'll be back with Juliet and the team at Old Trafford shortly. In the meantime, here's the 5 Live news at just after 10 to 9. Police are questioning a 16-year-old boy on suspicion of murder after a 15-year-old girl was stabbed to death in Hexham. Another boy was injured and is in hospital. Detectives say the boy in custody and the victims knew each other. Downing Street says claims Rishi Sunak was told about an issue with Nadeem Zahawi's taxes before appointing him as Conservative Party chairman are not true. The Observer newspaper is reporting the Prime Minister was told in October that a significant sum of money was involved and that it wasn't a trivial accounting error. Senior politicians and the Prince and Princess of Wales are among those to have sent their condolences to the First Minister of Wales, Mark Drakeford, after his wife Claire died suddenly today. The Welsh Government says its thoughts are with the family and it's asked for their privacy to be respected. Around 2,500 people who were due to travel with Flybe today have been making last-minute arrangements. The airline has collapsed, with 277 of its 300-plus workers losing their jobs. And the former US President Donald Trump has begun his campaign for re-election in 2024. During a speech in New Hampshire, Mr. Trump accused President Biden's administration of running America into the ground and said he was more angry and more committed than ever.
Gregory Aldridge boots it out, and France are Grand Slam champions. Operation Grand Slam is complete. Les Bleus on top of European rugby once more.
The Six Nations 2023 starts next weekend.
The Pod hoist the Six Nations trophy high in the sky.
Plus, get the 5 Live Rugby Union Daily Podcast from BBC Sounds. The Six Nations on 5 Live, BBC Radio 5, Sports Extra, and across the BBC.
5 Live Sport
with Juliet Farrington.
We're back here live at Old Trafford. Apologies for that. It's nothing that FA Cup excitement can't do to knock you off air in the middle of reading all the scorelines from today's matches. But we're going to try that again. Very much thanks to Stuart Clarkson there for kicking in and bringing you the news here on 5 Live. So let's just recap on the early kickoffs and the games that have forced replays in these fourth round matches today. There were wins for Leeds 3-1 at Accrington, Leicester 1-0 at Walsall, Blackburn 2, Birmingham 2, Fulham 1, Sunderland 1, Ipswich 0, Burnley 0, Luton 2, Grimsby 2 and Sheffield Wednesday 1, Fleetwood 1. The other winners today to join Leeds and Leicester and Tottenham, by the way, because they beat Preston by 3-0. Bristol 3, West Brom 0 and Southampton 2, Blackpool 1. 2 goals then for Son Heung-min in the 3-0 win for Tottenham at Preston, and he's been speaking to Andy Giddings.
How pleased are you to score 2 of the goals that have helped Tottenham win the game today?
No, I mean, I'm really glad that I helped the team to go next round. I think it was really important, especially FA Cup is always giving so much surprise, and especially away from home is always tough. So when you see the score sheet, it looks quite comfortable, but the game, or when you see the games, it wasn't that comfortable game. So I think as a team, I think we did a great job. So I'm very happy that I helped the team, and also the lads did a great job.
Well, it was a pretty special first goal that helped break that deadlock, wasn't it? Because until then, they were making life quite difficult for you.
Yeah, I mean, this is always the football. That's why we love football, when it's nil-nil. We never know in the knockout stage. So I think they did a great job, especially in the first half, and until we scored the first goal. So I mean, it was a great time, and what I said before, I'm very happy that this moment, tough moment, also team, and also for me, we needed that goal and going to the next round. So and I'm very pleased for that.
So defeat for the Preston manager Ryan Lowe, who's also been speaking to Andy.
Well, Ryan, tough night at the office in the end, but your take on your side's performance today?
I thought we were excellent before they scored. I thought we were well in the game, got to half time and felt pleased with the performance. It was tough, we were defending, resolute, solid, and we had to do a lot of work to keep them at bay. But I thought the lads were fantastic. We would have liked to have been a little bit better with the ball, yeah, of course, but good teams don't allow you to do that.
It's always a quandary in these circumstances. How much does the Championship team in this case really try and go for it, but then ultimately get picked off?
Yeah. Well, we changed a little bit today. Went with a flat 3 in midfield, because obviously respecting that they like to come inside the pitch like Son did and Kulusevski and the players on the pitch. So we were aware of that, and we felt we contained that to half time, and if we'd have got to 60-70 minutes, then maybe we changed obviously when they scored to try and get us back in the game and sort of play the way we want to play, in terms of with 2-8 on the front foot and driving and sliding wing backs and whatnot. But look, you're coming up against top opposition in Tottenham Hotspur. They've got fantastic players, and that's always going to be tough, but we tried. We had a good goal. The place was bouncing. FA Cup 4th round, live on TV. So yeah, look, pleased with the group, but now we have to get back to our Championship form.
It was a better afternoon for Championship side Sunderland, though, at Craven Cottage, forcing Fulham to a replay. It finished 1-1 after 15-year-old Chris Rigg looked to have scored the winner for Sunderland, only for his goal to be ruled out for offside in the build-up to it. Here's the manager, Tony Mowbray.
I think it was an amazing performance against a top team who were flying high in the Premier League at the moment, and I think right from the off we were on the front foot. I think first half particularly we threatened their goal a lot, and we're disappointed really only to score one. I think you could feel their quality, their top players who play in tight areas and move the ball around really well, and yet every time we counter-attacked first half we looked like we could score. They eventually broke us down, and yet we made some subs and give us a bit more energy. And looked like we'd won it late on. It wasn't to be. 15-year-old scoring what would have been the winner for us. I think when you look at our team, take out Danny Bath, take out Ross Stewart, who came off very early in the match, and Patrick Roberts, you've got a team of lads 20-year-old and under really playing in the team, and so 7, 8, 9 of them. I thought it was an amazing performance against the top Premier League side.
You say how young they all are, but you must have sent them out saying, you're going to take on a Premier League team, but that doesn't matter. You can perform against them, and they did.
Well, listen, we won a massive derby in front of 44,000 people only a few days ago, and they know that we get the ball to the front four. We're very fortunate to have a player the talent of Diallo and Patrick Roberts. How on earth he was playing in League One last season is beyond me. I mean, an amazing talent. We get the ball to them front players, and Jack Clark obviously scored the goal with his speed and directness today, and we can damage any team.
Not long to go to the start of the second half here at Old Trafford. Manchester United 0, Reading 0, which means we have got time to hear from Grimsby, because it was another creditable result for the underdog. That came at Kenilworth Road at Luton. Grimsby of League 2 earning a replay following a 2-2 draw there. Let's hear from their manager, Paul Hurst.
Paul, we can hear the music in the away dressing room, celebrating that almost like a win.
Not quite, but I think we have to give a lot of credit to the players. We're certainly not getting carried away. However, it was a really good effort from the players. I thought we played well. Didn't feel it was like a lucky draw. I think we deserved that. And now we've got another game in a hectic schedule.
You're exactly right. You didn't just come to Luton and nick a draw. You've fully earned that result today with a really resolute performance.
Yeah, I think we had a a nice kind of structure to the team. They worked extremely hard. We knew we had to. We asked before the game for the players to try to get to their top levels, because against a Luton team and they were strong. You know, they're a fantastic side, and you're kind of pleased with the draw in one respect. But going into the game, there's an element of concern because of how well they play and are doing this season. But yeah, really pleased with the discipline shown by the players and the attitude and commitment to the game.
And if you can perform like that here at Kenilworth Road, get them back to your place in 10 days' time. Did you fancy yourself in the replay?
Look, we know we're still massive underdogs, of course, but it's nice. It's nice for the club. It's days like this for the fans. You know, we've had some tough times over the years, like pretty recent years, and this is another day to add to, you know, a memory. We've said that again to the players as well, but it's for the fans. And we'll look forward to, you know, hosting Luton in what we know will be another extremely difficult game. Perhaps we've had his chance, but, you know, let's see when that game comes around.
By the way, Blackburn and Birmingham have issued statements this evening condemning racist abuse that goalkeeper Neil Etheridge said he had been subjected to by fans at Ewood Park during that 2-2 draw this afternoon. The game was paused for several moments, with referee Keith Stroud speaking with both benches after Jordan James had equalised, and the matter is now being investigated by the FA. In the EFL today, Middlesbrough, they're up to third in the Championship thanks to a 2-0 win over Watford at the Riverside. In the days of the two matches, Hull beat QPR 3-0. It finished Coventry 2, Huddersfield 0. Duncan Ferguson's first game in charge of Forest Green ended in defeat. They took the lead early on at Shrewsbury but conceded twice in injury time. Ryan Bowman's winner for Shrewsbury coming in the 98th minute. And League Two leaders Leyton Orient were beaten for the second Saturday running, going down 1-0 at Tranmere. Arina Sabalenka is the Australian Open women's tennis singles champion. Britain's Alfie Hewitt won the wheelchair title, and the men's singles final, of course, is on 5 Live tomorrow morning from 8:30. Novak Djokovic against Stefanos Tsitsipas. We're waiting for the teams to come back out for the second half here at Old Trafford, where it's Manchester United 0, Reading 0. Manchester United having the majority of possession. They were looking comfortable, they were looking composed, they had all the chances. We thought Marcus Rashford had made it 10 out of 10 here at Old Trafford in terms of scoring goals in a row. That was ruled out by VAR. Leon Osman is alongside me. What can we expect then, Leon, second half? We've seen Manchester United, what they can do in the first half. They will have been frustrated going in at half-time with it being goalless, surely.
Yeah, oh, of course, yeah. You know, when you've dominated a game in the way Manchester United have, you probably expect to be 2, even 3-0 up. You know, they've been camped on the edge of Reading's penalty area, but I don't think they've been clinical enough. I don't think they've been sharp enough inside that penalty area. Reading have been able to get blocks and defend, so I think they'll just be turning the dominance into goals and make this a comfortable afternoon. But be aware, because Reading, right on the stroke of half-time, could have actually found themselves in front.
And that would have been, I would have thought, the main story of the team talk from Paul Ince at half-time.
Yeah, I'm sure he would try and help his team to get out a little bit more, to maybe get up the pitch at times, to create more of those opportunities. But it is, if we defend well and we're in this as a team and we don't let each other down, an opportunity will come. Let's make sure we're in the game when it does.
Right, Manchester United came out first. Reading are on their way out now. For the second half, Leon, enjoy it alongside Conor McNamara.
Thanks very much, Juliet. Just counting the numbers. Manchester United certainly unchanged, and it looks like Reading have got 11 players out as well, so no substitutions imminent as we get ready for the second 45 minutes at Old Trafford. Manchester United banging on the door repeatedly, Reading just about holding on, and in the second half now Manchester United will attack the Stretford end. Paul Ince, one of the last out of the tunnel down in the corner here at Old Trafford, walking along the sideline towards the dugouts. And we get ready to get back underway. Manchester United in their red shirts, white shorts and black socks. They've only lost 2 of their last 13 FA Cup games. There's no doubt they've been on top, but until you get the goal, Leon Osman, it's always just a little lingering doubt. We could still have a cup shock here as we get back underway.
Yeah, that's why we love the FA Cup, isn't it? It only takes one moment, one opportunity, as we nearly saw at the end of that first half. So at 0-0, this game is very much all to play for. So both teams have an opportunity.
Reading have only had one win in their last 5 games in all competitions. Manchester United have been going like a train as Malacia has possession just inside his own half. Paul Ince, who stood right on the edge of the technical area with Alex Rae for much of the first half, looks like he's going to do the same here. Maguire, ball over the top, looking for Rashford, too close to the goalkeeper. Out comes Joe Lumley to make the save. So, reminder of the teams then. Manchester United, who have named the same team that started the League Cup semi-final, apart from the 2 central defenders. It's Maguire and Lindelof instead of... Lindelof did start that game, so it's only one. It's Martinez for Maguire is the only change from that game in midweek. So De Gea in goal, Wan-Bissaka, Maguire, Lindelof and Malacia the defence. In midfield, Eriksen and Casemiro, with Antony and Rashford wide, Bruno Fernandes behind Wout Weghorst, who's making his home debut for the club. And then Reading, well, they made a couple of changes from their last game. 4-0, they were beaten at Stoke in the Championship. Andy Carroll's come back in tonight, Lucas João as well. They're the 2 front men, otherwise it's the same. Lumley the goalkeeper, Yiadom, Holmes and McIntyre, 3 central defenders. Jeff Hendrick and Mamadou Loum in the middle of the midfield. Junior Hoilett wide right, Baba Rahman wide left. Tom Ince behind Lucas João and Andy Carroll. And Junior Hoilett had the best chance, arguably the best chance of the game, when he was denied by a reaction save from David De Gea in stoppage time at the end of that first half. Rashford plays a rather careless ball forward, cut out by Tom McIntyre. Reading have it back. Yiadom, he's held on to it, and he's held on to it too long, and it's been taken off him by Wan-Bissaka, though the shot for Bruno Fernandes is off target. Well, this is the conundrum for Reading. They clear it too quickly, they're just giving it away. They try to hold on to it, and things like that can happen. They get their pocket picked.
Yeah, it's credit to Manchester United as well, because they're quick to react. Marcus Rashford dropped deep, gave the ball away, reacted so quickly getting after it, and then you've got Wan-Bissaka all the way over from the right, because he's not playing on that right-hand side of defence when Manchester United have the ball. He's acting like a second centre midfielder, maybe even number 10 at times, and he was in a good position to react to try and win that ball back too, and rather than just finding it difficult, I'd be surprised if they've strung more than 4 or 5 passes together in one sentence all evening.
Here is Weghorst going down on the halfway line. Junior Hoilett received a knock to the face. He's down on his haunches, and the referee in the end does give a free kick to Reading, but for a challenge on Andy Carroll. I think he's just got a bang on the nose, something like that, for the Canadian international Junior Hoilett. Andy Carroll picks himself up off the deck, walks forward, and some medical attention has just got to come on for Hoilett to make sure that he's okay. So Manchester United had 15 shots in that first half. Only 2 of them, though, were on target. They had the downward header from Rashford from the tight angle that went through the goalkeeper's legs. Erik ten Hag hoping that more chances do come in this second half. This team will get a few more of them on target. Hoilett slow to recover, still getting some treatment right beside the technical areas. Just a little break in play here as the second half was just kicking into gear.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure what Junior Hoilett's suffering with there. I just saw the end of the replay again. Didn't look too obvious, so let's hope he's okay. I don't know if he's he's taking some serious treatment at the moment. He hasn't really moved.
Yeah, a reminder, plenty live sport coming up here on 5 Live. You can listen to the Australian Open men's singles final tomorrow morning from 8:30. Novak Djokovic involved. Then we've got Brighton against Liverpool at 1:30. That's another FA Cup 4th round game. And we've got commentary of Wrexham against Sheffield United at 4:30. It continues on Monday. The last of the 4th round games sees Derby County host West Ham. And then on Tuesday, it's the start of the second legs of the League Cup semi-finals. Newcastle have got an aggregate lead against Southampton for the first leg. And Manchester United on Wednesday, already 3 goals to the good against Nottingham Forest from that first leg last week. Junior Hoilett still not up, and he does have a bloody nose. You can just see a close-up there of the sort of tissue and the gauze they've been using there, and he's got a bloody nose. So they're working on him like a boxer in the corner here to stop that before the game can get back underway. There's no undue pressure from the referee Darren England, who can see the genuine circumstances of what is occurring. Earlier on today, it's already been a busy day of FA Cup 4th round action. Accrington 1, Leeds 3 was the lunchtime game. Leeds who went 3-0 up in that game. It was just a consolation for Accrington late on. So Jesse Marsh's team, who've not gone far in the FA Cup in recent years, but they're into the 4th round this time. Leicester with a much needed win, struggling in the Premier League, but Ian Atcher got the winner against Walsall. We're back underway here. Other scores today: Blackburn 2, Birmingham 2. As in the penalty area, nearly a chance. Andy Carroll strikes it, and it's blocked by Lindelof. He was standing around the penalty spot, and that was a good shot from Carroll. Another ball in. Lindelof rises once more, and then Christian Eriksen is able to clear the ball away. 0-0 at Old Trafford. Reading don't come forward very often, but when they do, Leon Osmond, when they do.
Well, and it's so simple and yet so effective. They've got 2 big guys up front. No messing about. Free kick on the halfway line, up on the diagonal. Carroll wins the first one. They battle for the second one. The ball ricochets and Carroll hits it from 30 yards. I mean, we've seen him strike them throughout his career, and he can't half catch them true and clean. And he caught that one as well as I've seen him catch one throughout his career. And it was fortunate that I think it was Victor Lindelof got straight down the line of it and stopped David De Gea having to make a save.
He caught it very sweetly, the shot there, Andy Carroll. Junior Hoyland is back on the pitch, and he has got 2 enormous swabs up either nostril. He is doing all his breathing through his mouth at the moment, but he's battling on for the cause here after that bloody nose as Carroll tries to flick the ball forward, but it goes straight out of play for Andy Carroll. Andy Carroll, who turned 34 earlier on this month, came through at Newcastle, made his debut at 17 years of age. He averaged pretty much a goal every 3 games in his 90 appearances at Newcastle. Then Liverpool spent big on him, £35 million, that crazy transfer deadline day when Liverpool signed Suarez from Ajax. They sold Torres to Chelsea, and they brought in Andy Carroll as well. And he has scored more FA Cup goals for Liverpool, Andy Carroll, than any other club in his career. Rejoined Reading earlier on this season, having been at them a couple of seasons ago. He's at West Brom last season for a spell as well, Andy Carroll. But you still think, if they're going to get one chance tonight, they will want it to fall to him.
Absolutely, especially if it's a cross coming in. He can be so effective in those areas.
Remember in his West Ham days, commentating on an Andy Carroll hat-trick against Arsenal at the old Upton Park, and he was world class that day. I mean, he was like Zlatan at his best that day.
Well, he likes the big games as well. I mean, he scored a semi-final goal at Wembley against Everton back in 2012, I think. So certainly knows where the goal is in this competition. His teammates just have to give him a half opportunity to get an Everton goal.
It looked like Harry Maguire was fouling Lucas João there, but the referee was right beside it. Says play on. Reading eventually regained possession, and then Carroll with a scissors motion takes out Christian Eriksen. Free kick to Manchester United on the halfway line. Eriksen slow to get back to his feet. He's still down on his knees. I don't think there's any great malice there from Carroll. He was clearly trying to play the ball, but he snapped into Eriksen, left and then right leg, and it's the double motion really that made that dangerous.
Well, that's a yellow card at the very least for me. He's given the ball away and he's tried to win it back, and you're right, he's gone clean through Christian Eriksen, who's now asking how come there was no yellow card for that, and he's right to. And what surprised me the most is Manchester United players didn't seem to react to that. They didn't actually get in Andy Carroll's face.
Would you? Would you get in Andy Carroll's face?
I would probably get in Andy Carroll's midriff.
Yeah, no booking. Manchester United 0, Reading 0. Carroll certainly showing that he's in the mood here, Andy Carroll. He's pumped up. He believes there is an FA Cup scalp to be fought for here as Anthony plays a good ball into the penalty area. Casemiro scoops it. It's a brilliant goal. It's created and crafted in Brazil. Anthony's low ball into the penalty area to set up Casemiro, who's been Manchester United's best player this season. He took that so well. Scored against Bournemouth earlier on this month. Scored against Chelsea in October. It was a good chance, but he took it so well. Manchester United 1, Reading 0.
Yeah, brilliant. And it's that avenue that Manchester United have been so effective in all this game. That inside right, Wan-Bissaka coming in, Anthony getting the ball, and then either Bruno Fernandes or Casemiro joining them in that quadrant, making a run into out, and they do it. And Loom can't stay with the run. The gap appears as Anthony steps inside onto that left foot. Clever little pass in behind McIntyre, the centre-back, who again had just stepped out of position. Casemiro saw it, Anthony saw it. Brilliantly weighted pass, and that clever finish just lifts the ball over the goalkeeper Lumley as he comes rushing out at the feet of Casemiro, and that's 1-0.
So Manchester United, who were denied a goal 10 minutes before the break when Rashford's effort was ruled out by VAR, but now 10 minutes after the break, they get a goal that counts, and Casemiro scooping it over the onrushing goalkeeper. Lovely weight to the pass from Antony. Christian Eriksen is still showing the ill effects of that challenge from Andy Carroll. During the celebrations of the goal, he came over, he was talking to Erik ten Hag, and I think they are going to make a change here, and Christian Eriksen will not be on the field for much longer.
Yeah, immediately as the goal hit the back of the net, Christian Eriksen turned round, walked over to the substitutes bench and signalled that he needed to come off, pointing to the leg which Andy Carroll so viciously took from him a couple of moments ago. And Christian Eriksen's asked Marcus Rashford to go in and play alongside Casemiro. He's just standing out on this left side of the pitch, not moving much, ready to be substituted, and Fred is ready to join the action when the ball leaves the pitch.
Yeah, Fred, who has been a regular addition to the Manchester United team from the substitutes bench in recent weeks. He will come on in place of Christian Eriksen. Eriksen, who's still standing, he's walking around but clearly feeling discomfort. Manchester United have got that second leg of the League Cup semi-final in midweek. Then they have got Crystal Palace here in the Premier League next Saturday, followed by the visit of Leeds. And there's no need to take any undue risk here as Fred comes in to the midfield. So a very Brazilian flavour now with Fred and Casemiro and Antony.
Yeah, I actually think that Andy Carroll just apologised to Christian Eriksen as he went off the pitch. There was certainly a word or two between them, started by Andy Carroll. Eriksen's face didn't suggest he accepted the apology, but because he's had to leave the field injured.
Yeah, it was the pincer motion, the scissors between the two legs of Andy Carroll connecting into Carroll. That was the dangerous element of it, and I think we're both surprised it didn't merit at least a yellow card, but it didn't. However, Eriksen feeling the ill effects of it, and he's been forced to leave the field. Manchester United 1, Reading 0. Reading, who rolled their luck continuously in the first half, but Manchester United have found a way to break the deadlock here. Free kick to Manchester United. Bruno Fernandes to take, 15 yards outside the penalty area, too far out to shoot. It's a good delivery, but Andy Carroll back helping out the defence, heads it away. As far as Antony spots that Bruno Fernandes is in space, having taken the free kick, he's available wide left. It's played towards him. Junior Hoilett just dancing in front of him. Low ball in field. Fred with a touch to Casemiro. Drills it with power, and it's gone in! It's another goal for Casemiro! 2 goals in 4 minutes for the Brazilian. And if the first was a neat finish, wow! What about this? It's almost caught half of Old Trafford by surprise. He has trucked it into the bottom corner. And everyone trying to work, hang on, is that it, the side netting? Is that it? It's in the back of the net. It's Manchester United 2, Reading 0.
Well, it certainly caught the goalkeeper by surprise. I think it caught Casemiro by surprise, the fact that it went in. It wasn't his cleanest of strikes, and he seemed encouraged by the crowd more than anything to have a shot at goal, and he sort of bends it towards the far post. He's trying to bend it round Holmes, who's the central of the 3 Reading defenders, and as he hits it, Holmes sort of tries to flick his head at it. Whether he actually makes the slightest of contacts that takes it further away from the goalkeeper and makes it just sneak in that far corner, it's difficult to see, but definitely the goalkeeper is unawares. Yeah, I think it takes a tiny deflection on the way through, takes it away from that outstretched left hand of Lumley and into that far corner, and now the dominance we saw in the first half from Manchester United is actually reflected in the scoreline.
So Manchester United double their lead. Casemiro, 2 goals in quick succession for the Brazilian. He's doubled his Manchester United tally in this second half alone. And there's been a lot of good things that have happened to this club. The arrival of Erik ten Hag, the re-emergence of Marcus Rashford and his elevation to new levels, but I'm not sure anything better has happened to this team in the last 6 months than the arrival of Casemiro.
No, he's had such an influence on this team, as Andy Carroll eventually does get a yellow card, which was more of a rugby tackle barge on Malacia than an actual challenge. And I don't think he was going for the ball with his foot. He was trying to certainly drop his shoulder into Malacia, but it went straight into his chest and knocked the Manchester United left back about 5 yards backwards off the pitch. So referee deeming that was endangering the opponent. But you're right, Casemiro such an influence on this Manchester United team. Wasn't introduced straight away after signing, took a couple of weeks. McTominay continued to play, but what an influence, what a player he's becoming. Doesn't just sit there. We've seen him tonight when the games are tight and there are spaces to run into. He spots it and can score goals.
Here come Manchester United again. They're flowing now. Fred's cross zips through the penalty area. No one could get on the end of it. Antony keeps it in play on the far side. Dancing by the corner flag, Antony, twisting, turning one way, the other way, bouncing his foot up and down on the turf and keeping it alive. Casemiro into Wan-Bissaka. Sits up for Malacia, whose shot is wild and away off target, but Manchester United have been threatening to do this whole game, really, to start running riot, and now the goals have started to flow, and Reading, it feels, are in big trouble with half an hour to play.
Yeah, backs to the wall at the moment for Reading. They're just trying to hang in there. Manchester United, they're sensing that there are more goals in there. Now you've got Malacia on the edge of the penalty. We've already seen Casemiro doing underlaps and overlaps, and I just see a smile on Marcus Rashford's face when Malacia had that shot. Not complaining to his teammate, but basically saying, oi, pass me the ball, I'm doing that, I'm on this record run, get me the opportunity.
Yes, he'll be the one disappointed Manchester United player down there, actually, Marcus Rashford, that goal hasn't been given in his favour. He's still got time to put it right, of course, to continue this run. If you weren't with us in the first half, he's hoping to become the first ever Manchester United player to score in 10 home games in a row in all competitions. Marcus Rashford. Reading have made a change. Mamadou Lam has been taken off in midfield, and Tyrese Fornah, who's on loan from Nottingham Forest, has come on instead. He's been a regular in the Championship for Paul Ince this season. He's been at Plymouth and Shrewsbury in recent years. He's on into the midfield here. But Manchester United have found a whole new gear in this second half, inspired by Casemiro. Antony has it, looking for Casemiro again. Well tracked run, back by Fornah, who's just come on. Fred into Bruno Fernandes, but he can't get on the receiving end of the return. And then Andy Carroll is challenged roughly by Harry Maguire, and then down goes Lucas Chow, and free kick is given for that second challenge. The foul on Chow, free kick to Reading inside their own half.
Again, we're talking about Casemiro being offensive tonight and scoring goals. He's one of the best in the league at this. Reading, half an opportunity there to counter-attack, inside run beyond the ball. Carroll plays it to João. He cuts inside Casemiro, who just brings him down. Doesn't let him get away, doesn't expose his defenders to the potential of a counter-attack. Gets away without a yellow card in doing it as well, but he's very clever in the way he goes about his business.
Yes, Manchester United, who remember might have conceded when this game was still at 0-0 just before half-time. That opportunity for Junior Hoilett in stoppage time before the break. But Erik ten Hag got his team into the dressing room, and his team talk, his little re-up of ideas has worked in this second half, and Manchester United now more dominant. They were always on top in this game, but now they're beginning to get those chances, to see the white of the goalkeeper's eyes as Tom McIntyre clears away, left-footed, straight down the centre of the field. Groans from Reading fans as it carries through to David De Gea. Reading haven't been able to get Tom Ince into the game much. He's been their top scorer this season, son of the manager. Harry Maguire in possession near the centre circle, gives it short to Malacia, now to Rashford, back in to the central defenders again, and Lindelof, and then Casemiro slots in to help out, and the ball just keeps moving, fizzing along the wet Old Trafford turf, out to Antony on the far side. He skips infield on his left boot, running along the halfway line, picks out Fred in a bit of space. Fred, who claimed the assist for the second Casemiro goal. He'd only been on the pitch, I mean, I'd wonder if it was even his first touch, Fred, that he provided that assist for Casemiro with. It's a ball given away by Casemiro, but Reading don't hold on to it. Baba Rahman is relieved of possession immediately by Bruno Fernandes, and here come Manchester United again. Carroll's got to be careful. He's gone through Casemiro. He's already on a yellow card. Casemiro shrugs away. He's going to go here. It's a second yellow for Andy Carroll, and when you consider he probably should have got a yellow for the Christian Eriksen challenge too, that's just silly. From an experienced player, he has thrown himself into a succession of rugby tackles, and now he's got himself sent off, and Reading 2-0 down to 10 men. That's going to be it, Leon Osmond. Andy Carroll's landed his teammates in it here.
Well, he's walking off the pitch shaking his head, but I don't know what he's got to complain about except his own decision making. I mean, this is as ridiculous as it comes for a player who's on a yellow card. He's enthusiastic, absolutely. He's been throughout his entire career. We've seen some of the tackles he's shown, but if you're on a yellow card, you can't be as silly as he was there. He runs towards Casemiro and he slides probably 8 to 10 yards before he gets to Casemiro, but because of the slick turf, Casemiro just plays it off, and Carroll can't stop himself. He's got such weight behind him that momentum just takes him through the feet of Casemiro and helps him see red.
Here is Rashford into the penalty area. Manchester United against 10 now. Casemiro, who's recovered from the challenge, shot from Antony from the edge of the penalty area, blocked away, and Manchester United just keep coming in waves. Wan-Bissaka, good footwork, can he get the shot? Good tackle. Tom McIntyre puts it out for a corner, but there's every chance here that Manchester United are going to pile up a score with 25 minutes to play in this sort of mood.
Yeah, definitely taking a quick corner as well. That ball coming in,
and it is 3, and it is Fred. What a cameo he's having. Fred with the cheekiest of Cruyff flicks of the front post makes it 3-0 to Manchester United, and Reading look done and dusted.
Yeah, clever, just quick and sharp, and speed of thought of this Manchester United team in this second half has just caught Reading out. And yes, Reading actually defended it really well from Wan-Bissaka. McIntyre giving that corner away, but then they don't organise, they don't respond. United go out and take the corner very quickly. Antony puts a foot on, Bruno Fernandes takes it and just passes it from near the corner right across that 6-yard box, and Fred meets it about 3 or 4 yards out, back heel on the way in. They're checking it for potential offside. I think he'll be all right. It is close, but I think it's run from deep. I think he's going to just about be onside from my first look at it, but it's a clever fillet, back heel, beats the goalkeeper comfortably, and now Manchester United look to bring the changes.
Yeah, we're just waiting for the 100% signed, sealed and delivered on the goal. While we do wait for that decision from Lee Mason, double change and 2 exciting youngsters are coming on. Groans around the stadium because Marcus Rashford's been hooked, so that's it. Dennis Violet's record for the 50s will not be beaten, not now anyway, not today. Marcus Rashford, goals in his last 9 games at Old Trafford in a row. Did get the ball over the line today, but Weghorst was offside and Rashford is off. On comes Garnacho, and Palestri's going to come on as well. This is long awaited to see Facundo Palestri. He came on as a substitute against Charlton in the League Cup earlier on this month. He played in midweek against Nottingham Forest at the City Ground. They're really keen to see what this Uruguayan can do. Played 3 games at the World Cup for Uruguay, and now onto the field at Old Trafford for Manchester United. Bruno Fernandes and Marcus Rashford, the 2 who've come on.
Yeah, just opportunity to make those changes. They've got a big week again, Manchester United. League game coming up, comfortable in this game. You're right, the crowd groaned. They wanted to see Marcus Rashford break that record. Marcus Rashford was disappointed. He put his arms in the air. He was disappointed to be coming off when he's, so close to doing something that hasn't been done since 1959. However, the best thing for me was he walked off the pitch, walked past the manager, Erik ten Hag, who was busy barking orders, and turned, and they shook hands and they hugged. He didn't sulk. He didn't think about it anymore of maybe what's been denied, that opportunity. He realises the bigger picture and understands the manager's discipline in these situations.
Andy Carroll's red card. Manchester United's free-flowing now. 3-0 they lead, and they go again. And here's Garnacho, twisting, turning, must be! Weghorst, how did he not score from there? Weghorst sliding a yard down, but a defender blocked it. Fred with a follow-up. It goes over the crossbar. Garnacho, first time involved, mesmerising, creating the opportunity, and so close to a 4th Manchester United goal of the evening.
Oh, he twisted. Yeah, he's on inside and out. He may have been just offside with the initial pass, but once he gets in there, he doesn't know that, and he twists. He goes from his right, chops onto his left. It's actually a good save by the goalkeeper, and as a team they blocked the follow-up from Palestri and then from Weghorst really well read, and so good to see they're still very committed to stopping United again anymore.
There's been a substitution as well. Amadou Mbengue, the Senegalese player, has come on for Reading. He looks to be playing the right hand side of defence now. The 10 men of Reading, so difficult after Andy Carroll's dismissal. Casemiro's got 2 of Manchester United's 3 goals tonight. And then down goes Tom Ince, and that will be a free kick. Free kick to Reading, 8 yards or so outside the penalty area. What a shame. This is exactly the sort of scenario they would have wanted Andy Carroll to aim for. A free kick out wide, but they're going to have to make do without him for now.
Yeah, and despite Reading being 3-0 behind, I don't think there'll be any rush to take this free kick. I think 10 men away at Old Trafford, 3-0 down, game seemingly beyond you. It's one of those moments where, do you accept 3-0? Do you try and take as long as possible, because what you don't want is to lose by 4s and 5s.
Lost 4-0 last game, of course, against Stoke. Tom Ince with the delivery, Harry Maguire with the header out, and Hendrick eventually back into the centre circle again, and they will build from deep. Fornat right-footed towards the edge of the Manchester United penalty area. Lucas Chow heads it down, comes back to him just outside the D, to the right-hand side. Chance for Yiadom, to the byline he goes. Hounded all the way out there by Malacia, but Yiadom's got a trick up his sleeve. Turns around Malacia. Casemiro sweeps in and shuts it down. Corner to Reading. Good work by Andy Yiadom on the right-hand side there.
Yeah, it was. He went toe-to-toe with Malacia, who was trying to win the ball, but got too tight and got turned. But who's there again? That man who spots danger. He notices when his teammates are in trouble. He comes over quite often without you really noticing, just to make sure the danger goes away.
Ball is played in, headed down, Reading get one back, and it's the substitute who's just come on, Amadou Mbege. He's been on for a couple of minutes, he's made it 3-1. It's still such a nearly impossible task for the Championship side, down to 10 men, but at least now they've something to build on. Yiadom, who worked so hard to win the corner, and then it's swung in by Ince, and a powerful header, and not the best defending you've ever seen from a switched off Manchester United. 3-1.
It's really poor defending, but they're marking zonally, and Reading do some clever little runs. They block people, they move people out of the way just to create this pocket of space 4 or 5 yards out, 2 or 3 yards beyond the front post, and they attack it. As you mentioned there, Mbege attacks it really, really well. Tom Ince, beautiful delivery. You couldn't have asked for better. And maybe, are they back in the game? I don't know. But whenever they've gone forward, they've actually looked quite effective, this Reading team tonight.
Manchester United are making 3 more, definitely 2 changes anyway. Weghorst and Casemiro making way. Elanga and Menu are coming on. Probably Menu. 2 goals for Casemiro. He'll get the hero's applause as he departs the field. First one dinking it over the goalkeeper. The second struck powerfully and accurately from long range outside the box. So Erik ten Hag taking a chance to wrap some of his big names in cotton wool. That's Eriksen, Rashford, Bruno Fernandes, Casemiro, and Weghorst have all been taken off, and it's the kids on now. Elanga, Pellistri, Garnacho. Manchester United, they lead just 2 goals now after that powerful header from Mbege, and he believes it's back on because he was waving his hands to the crowd and trying to drum them up to say, come on, this isn't over yet, but they still need a miracle.
Well, to be fair to Reading, what they have or haven't done, they've not dropped back. So Andy Carroll's gone off. They were 2 up front. They've not just left Diao up on his own. Tom Ince has now gone up front. They've been a bit more positive. Menge's come on. They push Yiadom to the right. They've gone sort of like a back 4 and tried to get men further forward just to try and make a game of it. Fair play to them.
Yeah, here come Manchester United again. Garnacho tries to get into the penalty area, well dealt with by Yiadom, who's playing as the right wing back now. And this is Malacia, but he has committed a foul on Ince. Free kick to Reading, 20 yards inside their own half. Michael Craig is about to come on, latest substitute. So too Shane Long, the veteran striker, and you don't see this very often, tactical goalkeeping substitution. Joe Lumley, who was the hero for Middlesbrough in the penalty shootout here last season at this stage of the FA Cup, will depart, and on comes Dean Bouzanis, a one-time goalkeeper on Liverpool's books, who will come on to replace the goalkeeper. This sort of feels something that was promised. I'll give you a run at Old Trafford, something like that. I mean, there's nothing wrong with Lumley.
No, it seems like that. Obviously one of those conversations that's gone on off the pitch to give people a game in a good circumstance, because Lumley doesn't seem surprised by it. He doesn't seem disappointed by it. It's as if it was a predetermined substitution. So you can't argue with what they're doing. Surprising, absolutely. Maybe the game is gone from them, and Paul Ince is just rotating the squad.
Yeah, Bouzaris did play in the last round, the third round, the win over Watford to earn this visit to Old Trafford. He's come on, so last quarter of an hour. Michael Craig slot in there, and Shane Long, who has scored against Manchester United in the past, scored against them in his West Brom days. He turned 36 earlier in January, but he did score against Watford in that third round game that Reading won by 2-0. And so he will try to fill in the void that's been left ever since Andy Carroll's red card. He will lead the line up front. Lucas João has gone off. Paul Ince still bellowing the orders down there with quarter of an hour to play. 2 more goals needed for Reading, 30 league places below Manchester United in the pyramid. So many changes. I mean, Manchester were absolutely flying as they got their third goal, and so many substitutes all in one go then has somewhat taken the sting, but there is time to get a second breath. Here's Elanga, touches it back to Harry Maguire. This is 5 Live from the BBC. Manchester United 3, Reading 1. As it stands, Manchester United heading through to the 5th round of the FA Cup. This is Lindelof rolling it to the right hand side to captain Harry Maguire. Short for Anthony, who had dropped into a little pocket of space to receive it. He gets it back from Wan-Bissaka. Here's Kobbie Mainoo, who's just been flirting on the edge of the first team for some time now. He was an unused substitute in a whole run of Premier League games in recent weeks. Made his senior debut in the League Cup game against Charlton. Yet to play in the Premier League. Kobbie Mainoo, who's a defensive-minded midfielder, just seems to be sitting in that holding role. There's Malacia. Edge of the penalty area to Garnacho. Can't smuggle it quite back to Malacia again. Chance for Reading to try and break away, and Mainoo's got to get back here up against Tom Ince. Running up to the halfway line. Malacia coming in to help. Attempted nutmeg by Ince on Mainoo, and down he goes. Free kick to Reading, midway inside the Manchester United half, and there's going to be a yellow card shown to Malacia, who had committed the trip there.
Yeah, and rightly so. Really positive play by Paul Ince. It's when you go down to 10 men sometimes and you realise you've got a man less, you're going to have to do a bit more yourself. Seems to be what's happening with this Reading team. Tom Ince gets the ball, he knows there's only one man up front, he's going to get very little help, so he's very positive in his play. He run it the full-back. Fred tries to come across, Mainoo tries to come across, Malacia eventually makes the foul, and he wins his team a free kick. Good play.
Free kick is taken, short to the right-hand side. Yiadom delivers in a cross, headed away by Aaron Wan-Bissaka, controlled by Pellistri, and he's got opponents all around him, and Pellistri very fortunate not to lose it there. Garnacho picks it up, Ince challenges him immediately. Throw in to Manchester United, left full-back position for them. A reminder of what's coming up tomorrow. We've got the men's singles final from the Australian Open tennis from 8:30 in the morning on 5 Live. At 1:30 lunchtime we'll bring you Brighton against Liverpool in the FA Cup. Those two who met recently in the Premier League, Brighton beating Liverpool, so Jurgen Klopp's team will be looking for extra revenge tomorrow. Stoke against Stevenage kicks off at 2. We'll keep you right across that before the 4:30 game tomorrow. Wrexham against Sheffield United will be live. Steve Crossman presenting from the racecourse ground, and I believe some pubs nearby in the build-up. So we'll bring all that to you, the flavour of a club that have become very high profile in recent times. Wrexham riding high in the top of the National League. They've got their Hollywood owners, and they do appear to be going places. We'll be with them tomorrow on their FA Cup journey here on 5 Live. Here come Manchester United, 3-1 up. Wan-Bissaka, low cross in, and Bouzaris, the replacement goalkeeper, gets down to make the save of the cross.
Yeah, he'll be pleased with that. Just introduced to the game, something that he can go and get after. Reading mate forward quickly here.
And Tom Ince has been picked up with quick distribution. Ince into the penalty area. Good feed. Pulls it back. Here's a chance. Must be. Maybe. Left foot. No, there's no shot at the end from Lucas João. He took too long. He waited and he waited and still no shot. And Pellestri's back to help out the defence now. And Reading still battle on. It was brilliant from Ince to get into the penalty area and to pull it back. but it sort of sums up Reading's day that they weren't able to take that opportunity.
Oh, what a chance that was for Reading. Brilliant from Long and from Tom Ince.
Down the other end, chance of a shot for Garnacho. He got it on target, but no power. And it's saved by Bouzanis.
Well, it's end to end suddenly. So you've got Reading getting the ball forward. Bouzanis, long ball forward to Long. He just flicked it round the corner, and surprisingly for Manchester United, Tom Ince was in. He was in behind that Manchester United defence, really slack against the team that have only got 10 men, and he dropped the shoulder. He beat the Manchester United defender. I think it was Lindelof, and just as I thought he was shooting, he pulled it back, and it was Fornah that was coming in, and he could have gone first time. He decided to take a touch. He then twisted to get half a yard against Maguire. He sat Maguire down, but he then tried to chop it back onto his foot, gave Maguire an opportunity to stand back up and make the block. So big chance wasted for Reading.
Tyrese Fornah has got one goal this season. It came in the Championship against Middlesbrough back in August. That was his chance to make it 2-2, and that would have made things interesting as Shane Long commits a foul of Malacia just inside the Manchester United penalty area. And that is a free kick to Erik ten Hag's team and a chance to clear their lines. 9 minutes of normal time to go. Manchester United 3, Reading 1.
Yeah, Paul Ince just seeing the replay on the line of his reaction to Fornah not getting a shot away on goal. He's furious because that really would have made it interesting. 3-2 going into the final stages. And if you come away as a team like Reading from the Championship to United, you've got to be excellent in what you do. You've got to take those opportunities, and they just unfortunately haven't been able to.
Yeah, there'll be a bit of what if as Palestri gets to the byline down the right hand side, challenged by Baba Rahman. Well challenged too. Last touch off the Manchester United player, and that is a goal kick to Reading. But you think back that Junior Hoylett chance in the first half, if they'd taken that, if Tyrese Fornah was able to score, I mean, there's a lot of ifs, buts and maybes. However, you know, as dominant as Manchester United have been, the FA Cup always gives you a chance.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, goals will always change games. Manchester United have been dominant in this game. They really have. They deserve to be ahead. But if Reading would have scored those chances, wow, it could have changed the atmosphere in this stadium.
Bouzanis with a dreadful clearance, and he's fortunate that Tom McIntyre was able to mop it up. Manchester United will come with Garnacho on the left-hand side. 2 step-overs into the penalty area. Pulls it back for Fred. Runs in front of Fred, and Mainoo will pick it up instead. This is just outside the penalty area that Manchester United are attacking the Stretford end here at Old Trafford this Saturday evening on 5 Live from the BBC in the Emirates FA Cup, as Fred rolls it back to Mainoo once again, the youngster with number 73 on his back. He's only 17 years of age, Kobbie Mainoo. As Anthony fancies another one. He was leaning back, and his shooting has let him down today. Anthony, he's had a few attempts, and I'm pretty sure they've all been off target.
Yeah, he's not got his shooting boots on tonight. That position, seen himself, I think that's his third, maybe his 4th attempt from that position, and he's not hit the target once, so certainly not got his shooting boots on, and he's furious with himself.
After Marcus Rashford, he has been United's top scorer this season in all competitions. Anthony is flicked on header by Shane Long. Is pounced upon by Tom Ince, who's done well here against Garnacho. Ince suddenly sprung and become a dominant presence in the game. We hardly saw him for the first hour, but he's been very dominant as he does well to win a throw-in down the right-hand side here.
Because Reading have been braver as a team. They've sort of said, well, it's time to gamble, and they've left Ince further up. He's just been able to get at Malacia and go 1v1. Previously for the game, he's been so deep and he's had to work so hard for his team. Now he's showing what he can do offensively.
10 men of Reading are battling on gamely, but they're 3-1 down at Old Trafford. Malacia here has time to clear away from a left full-back position, but he sliced the clearance and it goes out for a throw into Reading, who'll remain on the attack down the right-hand side. Throw-in will be taken by Mbengue. Amadou Mbengue, the substitute who came on to score the header. That was when Reading were already 3-0 down and already down to 10 men. The Manchester United crowd are slow to return the ball. Here it comes, someone trying to keep a souvenir down below us. Eventually Mbengue can take the throw. A shout from Paul Ince to give it back to Tom McIntyre. McIntyre's left-footed ball towards the edge of the penalty area. Pelestri's beaten in the air but helped out behind by Wan-Bissaka. Right-footed clearance straight to Tyrese Fornah. Reading are really showing the best of themselves since they've been down to 10 men. Shane Long battling with Wan-Bissaka near the corner flag. Wan-Bissaka squeezes it out via Pelestri. Lindelof Back to Aaron Wan-Bissaka again, that he plays a dangerous ball across the face of his own goal. Harry Maguire keeps his cool, finds Fred, and now the chance of the counter-attack as Malacia comes over the halfway line. Garnacho takes it in his stride, right-footed, off the left wing, back to Malacia. To the byline left-hand side, Garnacho streaming for it to be returned to him. Malacia dragging it under his studs, slowly does give it back to Garnacho once again. Reading have got players back now. Here's Fred, infield to Meno. His ball over to a little bit of space, and Aaron Wan-Bissaka on the right-hand side. Manchester United leading 3-1 with 5 minutes of normal time to play in this FA Cup fourth round game. Anthony tries to take them all on, nearly loses it. Then there's a slide by Michael Craig, but he can't get the ball for Reading. Menu gets it once again, midway inside the Reading half, and this has become slow and considered for Manchester United as Reading find the extra burden of being down to 10 men. Pellistri into the penalty area, takes a little stumble. To his credit, he doesn't go down, and it runs out for a goal kick to Reading. 3-1 they trail.
Yeah, they've been okay at that this evening. Sharp on the edge of the Reading penalty area, Manchester United, but Reading defending it really well. I mean, it's been a strange one to describe. Reading have defended so deep, yet for the majority they actually defended their penalty area really well, but from Casemiro running from really deep, just going into them spaces, Reading felt they'd covered from every other opportunity. Reading would have felt that they'd have job done, but Casemiro, that clever player, spotting the time to step up for his team.
Yeah, it's all comfortable now for Manchester United, but Casemiro's made it that way. Here's Garnacho into the penalty area, picking out Anthony. It's really not his day. He slipped as it came to him, and he fluffed the shot. And with the goal at his mercy, Anthony picks himself up, shakes the head, and, well, it's just one of those days for him.
Yeah, it is. I mean, he should have scored that. That was good, really good play. Out on the left-hand side from Garnacho, onto his right foot. Just passes it really more than crosses it into the penalty area. Reading are stretched finally because people getting across, the man down trying to cover certain areas, and Anthony, I don't know if he takes his eyes off it, but he scuffs his finish and Reading clear it easily.
It is a Manchester United corner, and Anthony rolls it short to Facundo Pellistri. Now Fred, 15 yards outside the penalty area, infield to the 17-year-old Menu, and now Garnacho, who does look the business. Takes on the fullback down the left-hand side. Good tackle by Yiadom to put it out for a corner. Corner to Manchester United on the left-hand side. We're into the last 3 minutes now of normal time. Manchester United on their way into the draw for the fifth round.
Yeah, and Erik ten Hag will be pleased. He really will. He started with his full-strength side, wanting to make a statement, I think, more than anything to the fans and show how serious they're taking every competition they're in. Now he's able to make a lot of substitutions and try and cruise home.
Anthony's corner's not a good one. Cleared away comfortably at the front post by Mbenge. A reminder that you can watch the best of all the action up and down the land today. Match of the day, FA Cup highlights, BBC One at 10 to 11 this evening. Here is Menu, short to Harry Maguire inside the centre circle. It's been a fairly unburdened evening for Harry Maguire. The Manchester United defence won't be enjoying looking back at the replays of the one goal Reading have scored, and Mbenge was allowed a free header from a corner, but otherwise they've not been put under much undue stress tonight. The two central defenders, Maguire and Lindelof. Here is Victor Lindelof inside the centre circle, rolling it out to Harry Maguire again. He'll now creep into Reading territory. Short ball to Anthony out to the right wing to Wan-Bissaka. Manchester United letting the ball do the work, and tired Reading legs now battling on with 10 men. Anthony, low ball into Pellistri. How the Manchester United fans would love a goal for him tonight, but he's tracked by McIntyre. Ball put out for a corner to Manchester United on the right hand side. Pellistri, who turned 21 in December, he's been busy. A player who's had to be patient, biding his time to get some action with the first team.
Yeah, and for the majority, I think they're just trying to see the game out. Reading not trying to concede. The inexperienced players of Manchester United just doing the job. But Menu, Pellistri, Garnacho still trying to impress in these final minutes.
Manchester United take the corner short. Anthony drills in another shot, comes off the defender, and that'll be another corner again out on the right hand side. And the clock ticks on, and we've got just over 30 seconds of normal time to play. Reading will host Watford in the next league game. That's on Saturday. Then it's Sunderland away, followed by Rotherham at home. Still plenty to battle on for in that second half of the championship season. They're only 5 points outside the playoff positions, Reading. There's a lot of teams between them and that top six. As ball is played in from the corner, and immediately repelled again, and back out for a throw-in this time, out by the corner flag on the right-hand side. So Manchester United, who have picked themselves up after that late defeat to Arsenal last weekend, and this can still be a very, very exciting season for Erik ten Hag, and that pursuit of silverware. They've got a few insurance policies. There's a few different possibilities of a cup being won by this team this season.
Yeah, you know, you want to stay in the cup competitions, you want to finish the season in good form. Manchester United are in good form now. They're trying to make sure that they keep ticking the boxes, doing everything right. Yeah, they lost to Arsenal, they'd drawn to Crystal Palace before, which stopped their run of, I think it was 9 straight wins before that. You're right, they're back to it, beating Nottingham Forest and now beating Reading. 2 games you'd expect for them to win, but you still have to go out and do it. You still have to go out and score the goals, beat the teams, bring that confidence back, and strike back on the horse. And I mean, Reading could have made this difficult. A couple of opportunities here or there, but very dominant performance from Man United.
Yeah, Reading, it's about to become 1 win in their last 6 games for them. And Tommins plays a pass out to Michael Craig on the right-hand side. If you're just showing your coverage late here, Andy Carroll sent off early in the second half, and you know, it wasn't just one bad challenge. He almost seemed determined to get on the bad side of the officials. Here's Garnacho on the break into the penalty area. This can seal it now, but he takes too long. Takes too long and allowed Mbenge to get back and make the challenge.
He always wanted to bring it back onto his right foot. If it had gone straight for goal with that left foot shot, would have had an opportunity to test Bazunas in that goal, but always wanted to chop back. The defender knew it. Mbenge always felt that he was going to chop back and just read the situation well.
These are big moments for Garnacho. You know, this is his chance to shine. Erik ten Hag will take notice of that. Was that what I think it was?
Yes.
They've announced Anthony as player of the match, and it's been met by a bemused reaction from the Old Trafford crowd. Go, sorry, what? Anthony? Yeah. He's flopped all his chances tonight. Well, there you go. Player of the match, Anthony. Go figure.
Yeah.
Well, that would have been our television colleagues who'd have announced that.
He wouldn't have been my choice. He's been involved in a bit of the play. Set the first goal up brilliantly for Casemiro. He's done okay. Don't get me wrong. I hadn't had him down for man of the match.
I don't think he'd have had himself down for man of the match, Anthony. But there you go. There's obviously been an admiration for the positions he's got himself into, if not quite his shooting boots tonight. Anthony did play a very good ball in front of Casemiro, but I think Casemiro on the bench would think, hang on a minute, excuse me, I've got the 2 goals, all those defensive clearances I made.
I think most of that noise came from Casemiro, didn't it?
I think you're right. So 4 minutes been added on. We played 2.5 minutes of those already. Manchester United on their way to the 5th round. They have got a 3-goal lead going into the second leg of the League Cup semi-final in midweek. And they're still very much in pursuit of big things in the Premier League too. They've got Crystal Palace in the Premier League next Saturday here. Then they've got the visit of Leeds. They're starting a run tonight, Manchester United, of 4 home games in a row. So a chance for Erik ten Hag's team to really solidify things as Buzanis clears away long, straight down the middle. Shane Long trying to hold off Wan-Bissaka, which is easier said than done. Very powerfully built Wan-Bissaka. Ince involved again, tries to get into the penalty area. Good work from Menu, tracking Tom Ince and winning possession for the team. Here's the player of the match, Anthony, but he's immediately tackled.
I am surprised, you know, looking at Reading's team and how they've competed there. I'm surprised Shane Long didn't start, whether it was an injury or whether he just didn't feel, Paul Ince didn't feel he could play enough, because he can run, he's got good pace still, despite his age at the moment. That would have put Manchester United on the back foot. Whereas playing those 2 big centre forwards who need the whole team to get up the pitch before they become really effective, really did hand this game tactically to Manchester United.
Yes, Paul Ince went with the big guns tonight, but as the final whistle blows, it's a 3-1 win for Manchester United, and it really was comfortable in the end. Reading, who held it scoreless to the break, doubled from Casemiro in quick succession, swung things powerfully in Manchester United's favour. Ridiculous red card for Andy Carroll, landed his teammates in it, and respect to Reading, they didn't allow the heads to drop. Mbenge got it back to 3-1, but Manchester United's strength carried them through ultimately. 3-1 Leon, dominant Manchester United into the 5th round.
Yeah, comfortable performance, comfortable win really for Manchester United. I think that they dominated the first half without getting the goals. Reading really couldn't get out and get up the pitch. They eventually got the goals in the second half through an unexpected source in Casemiro. But he wasn't being used defensively. He didn't have to do an awful lot to stop Reading, so he started to venture forward, started to spot spaces that he could run in an attacking sense and help his team, and didn't he just crucial opening goal. And once they got that, there was no looking back from Manchester United. A dominant display.
Yes, this time last year Manchester United were dumped out of the cup here at Old Trafford by lower league opposition in the 4th round. Middlesbrough won on penalties, but it's plain sailing this time round. Casemiro and Fred, the Brazilian flavour to the goals. Manchester United 3, 10-man Reading 1.
Thank you, Connor. The Reading players and Paul Ince as well, going over to the fans to my right. All those thousands of fans who've made the trip up here didn't have that much to shout about, Leon, until the second half, until Reading got themselves, you could say, back into it and threatened to score more.
Yeah, I think they'll be pleased that their team kept going, and I think they'll be pleased that the goal they scored was at the end where the fans can celebrate it. It would have been better if they'd have had 11 men at the time and not 10, and had a real opportunity to put some nerves throughout this Old Trafford stadium. But, you know, they've come to one of the informed teams in the country at the moment, the team that's vying for all the competitions that they've entered this season. So, you know, I think they put in a decent display, showed that they're right behind the manager. They gave everything they had until the very end, and they're happily clapping their players off the pitch.
A fan managed to get on the pitch, by the way, but he's now been put back in his place after the stewards escorted him off. Not sure which team he was supporting tonight. From a Manchester United point of view, you know, it was cheeky and it was fun in the second half. They were getting those goals, but Erik ten Hag, when they conceded that goal by Reading, he won't be happy about that, because that's what United need to do. They need to keep concentrated at all times if they're going to push and challenge to where supporters want them to really be.
Definitely, if you're as dominant as they were this evening, you can't concede goals. You can't allow the opposition to get anything from you. Clean sheets are important. They breed confidence defensively. If you look back at the end of the season, you're proud of how many shutouts you've had, and if you allow little sloppy goals to go against you, that'll start slipping into your game as well. When you're effective defensively, make sure you see it through and get that clean sheet. They lost concentration today. Reading will be pleased. They got the goal, and they'll go home a little bit happier than if they'd have gone home with a 3-0 scoreline. But that'll be a little needle in Erik ten Hag's side.
You said it though in commentary, Casemiro, 2 goals in those 4 second half minutes, and as you said, he's the best thing to happen to United, isn't he, in his last 6 months or so?
He is, and it was a big price tag when he came in for a player that is certainly in the second half of his career, so you always raise an eyebrow when that happens, but he's a player for now. He's not one for the future. He's a player that has made an immediate impact. He's put a different feel throughout this Manchester United squad. They've got direction. They've got a man who has been successful, winning trophies repeatedly throughout his career, and I'm starting to see that within the squad at Manchester United now. They're starting to have real belief, and he's at the heart of it.